Yo, real quick, you guys are talking about like weapon balancing and shit. This guy doesn't kill people at all in Tarkov.
That is so true. I really.
Can we talk about nice interactions?
Yo, what's up, guys? So I just got back from my overnight flight from San Diego TwitchCon. As you can tell, my voice is a little hoarse. All of the yelling over loud music at bars after, the conference and all the talking to all of the awesome community members that me and Jesse met. It's got the voice a little hoarse, but I just want to say a couple things really quickly because this episode's slightly different than normal. We had a live podcast with a ton of Tarkov legends from the community. It was awesome. I picked up pizza and beer, and we just kind of hung out, talked about a whole bunch of things Tarkov related. It was super fun. Huge thanks to One Peg, Willers, and Clean. They let us basically use the space that they had there to have everybody come and hang. And a big thank you to that friendly guy. He supplied all of the gear that we used for streaming and recording, and all of the probably dozen or so other guys and gals from the Tarkov streamer community that came and collabed with us and hung out while we recorded. All of their information is going to be in the show notes, so don't worry about that. If you guys enjoyed this episode, you can do Jesse and I a favor. Check out the show notes. Click on all of the links for everybody that all of the voices that you hear, so you can put names to faces. See some new Tarkov content creators. Show them some love because they're awesome and they deserve it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talk about all the progress things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. We're at TwitchCon. What's up, everybody? So we don't have like a topic list or schedules. We got bunches of homies. We got homies off camera. We got a bunch of people, but we just thought this would be a cool opportunity to just do a little IRL live podcast with all the people that we talk to all the time and game with all the time. So, what's up, everybody?
I don't know that we're gonna be like, do we want to say our names? Do we want to?
Everybody knows us.
I don't know these people. Listen, if Ghost Freak just resubbed. Oh, thanks for the resub.
Hey, I heard that guy sucks.
Okay.
Did you put like a tweet out we can retweet?
I did, yeah,
Okay.
I did. It was like 90 minutes ago before. So me and Will just came from the pizza place.
I don't know if you should talk about it.
You might not want to do
Yeah,
that.
that's not a Twitch.
We had to do some walking longer than we thought, and I've got gamer legs, so I'm not built for walking long distances. But yeah, so we've got literally everybody here. I'm sure you guys will all recognize folks. Feel free to, if I got mods here, to like shout out any of the names for folks you recognize, or anybody else in chat. Just throw names out there, like whatever. But yeah, how's everybody's TwitchCon been so far? All right, been cool.
So far, so
It's
good.
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's wild to see everybody here. Like we were talking, I was talking with one of my mods like 3 or 4 years ago. Man, the Tarkov category was like 4 or 5 streamers. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that like there's so many of us here, and just like how far it's come. And we were talking with like Clean and them earlier about like you guys getting in like in 2016, 2017 era. And just like, it's pretty nuts, like the community side of it, how far it's come, and like how many people showed up here. It was kind of nuts.
That's a big turnout.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I ever saw Tarkov. It was because I had been watching. I literally only watched the Doc and Shroud play PUBG back in the day when I was first like watching. And I remember tuning into Shroud's stream one day, and he was playing with you. I didn't know like anybody other than basically like 2 or 3 folks on Twitch. And it's crazy when I was doing the history of Tarkov, going back and watching like the VODs from that and thinking like, holy shit, I had no idea who you were. I didn't know what the game was. I thought that the scavs were like zombies or aliens. Because you guys, it was mostly Shroud, was just like freaked out with all the scavs and everything like that. And I watched for like 30 minutes and there were no scavs in that time period. But the way that you talked about them, I'm like, yo, they're legitimately like zombies or aliens. Like, I don't know what these scav things are like.
Back then, they would shoot at you and they wouldn't say anything.
They wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, it was just silent. You'd just be getting shot at.
They'd spin bot too.
No,
like,
they would.
360
So
Mach
they're
speed.
just chilling doing their thing, then they swirl, head eyes dead, no sound,
Yeah.
no nothing.
And now they don't say anything and they don't shoot at you. So.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
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 is a bonus for me. It's been bliss. It's been the best time of my life. I've been walking around like a boss.
Yeah, unless you're a bear, Sag.
Oh.
Yeah, I went bear this
Bear.
one.
Poor bears.
Yeah.
I went bear too.
They got better clothing, man.
The
Yeah.
first time
They knew.
The
Sag.
hoodie.
They
The
knew.
hoodie.
I've been waiting for VoIP to be a bear, basically.
Yeah.
And as soon as VoIP comes out,
They're like, here's the English voice lines now. Oh, sick. Thanks. Like,
They're like it's like a Scottish dude recording. it,
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
That would've been good
What was that? How was
five
that
years ago.
broken like Russian?
Yeah,
broken
broken Russian. It's just
English
just
with a
English
with
heavy
weird
accent.
accents.
they
Yeah.
gave him the same exact script
They
that they
just
gave
put
like
the
USEC
accent
1
on.
or 2 like a million years
So
ago.
bad.
He
I
complains
honestly
about
think-
the bears, even
Yeah.
though he is a bear.
Yeah.
And he also says the same lines wrong.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Like he goes like
yeah.
that.
What's wrong with you?
But it's still fun. How's everybody's I know this is like not that we want to get into anything like controversial, but how's everybody's like experience with Tarkov been lately? Has it been like mixed? Has it been some people might say it's the best wipe ever. I know a lot of people say things have been great. I know it's been rough for me. No one needs to hear me talk about it anymore.
We have 119
it's
other
solid.
episodes
Like
now.
when it's good, it's good. But like, there's a lot more cheaters this way.
I'm just
for
confused because I thought Tarkov was a dead game. People still play.
Yeah,
People still play Tarkov.
Yeah.
I'm convinced the game is in the best state it's ever been in. Like just from being there since the beginning. I mean, there's more to do. There's a lot of in the game. There's a lot of problems. Cheaters are really bad right now. It's actually probably worse it's been in like 2 to 3 years. I think
Yeah, I'd agree
it's
with
been
that.
really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game has so much to offer, and I mean, like when you look at like the regular player, they have so much content to choose through.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff for them to do because like a lot of the people here, like we can get through the game in like less than 2 weeks, maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
These
but-
guys like a week.
48 hours.
The guy that literally got tapped first, got 41st.
Yeah.
Rand, what level are you?
Almost 71.
Damn.
On my alt. You know.
Second count.
Wait, you haven't capped off the XP yet? What have you been doing?
Nah, I've been sleeping too much. Showering a little bit here and there.
You know, the problem is that like 90% of Twitch chat is convinced that that's like the normal.
That's not. It's like 0.1%.
That's true.
When I take the
Where's all your
40
money?
minutes to sell all the junk and I find like I'm just gonna do it, put everything on the flea market. I gotta have like 3 wiki tabs up to go figure out like what things I need for quests, you know, all that stuff. And I get like 3 million rubles. I'm like, okay, cool. I got space in my stash. People are like, what happened to your money? Like, this is the most money I've had all wipe. Are you kidding me? You know,
Yeah, if
and-
you guys could chill out, you're making the rest of us look bad.
Yeah.
Does anyone hyper? Are you going for the billion again?
Yeah, I'm at 300 right now.
300 million rubles. I totally get what you're saying though, Clean.
Are
Like
you, who was doing the billion challenge?
hyper.
Hyper's always
I
the
know
full
you
he's a
said,
billionaire.
you said 300?
Right?
Sheaf has
Sheaf
done
is.
it
Sheaf
twice.
done
I don't know if he's doing it this wipe. I was gaming with him the other day.
Didn't give it away for charity as well.
That's
He did.
well, I think
Yeah.
that's what he said. He was like, I would give all the money, all the rubles away, and you can't do that anymore.
No.
And so
Yeah.
you know 100,000
20K
rubles at a time. You know what I mean? Like that's not happening.
It's probably the hardest wipe by far though.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Because I have max attention and I can like blow through a labs raid in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But like even like it's just extremely lucky. Like athletics is like the best thing I can find now.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
soft skills is right. Endurance took me 1,400 races.
Endurance?
Yeah. Even with a filter, it max out.
Yeah.
I was like,
just
fuck.
got elite endurance.
It took me about 700 to get max strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think
last
everybody got max strength before they even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was level,
Near
I was level
level
9
20.
endurance when I got my
Yeah.
My,
Level
my
10.
scout had higher endurance than my PMC.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're
My
always
level,
underweight.
like,
Yeah.
40, 50 PMC was
Yeah.
worse than my scout.
Yeah, and do you remember?
That
remember
was
when
like,
we got
had,
max
like,
strength?
10
Yeah, I
This way?
remember.
Yeah.
I got it like week 1. I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude. Like
Yeah.
day 4. Yeah.
Weird
It's
flex.
crazy.
Weird flex.
I was so excited because last wipe with Scav Karma because I basically like raged at Santa, so I had like max
Oh,
negative
Santa
I
flex.
messed
killed
me
him so
up.
many
He
times.
scared
Still
me.
ruined
He's
mine.
like in a
Yeah.
dark corner
I
of his
still
room,
have
and
nightmares.
every time he scared me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all it takes is for one person to kill him, take his stuff, and then you go to trust Santa Scav or whatever, and then he betrays you, and it's like, okay, well now if I see the hat, I'm just gonna kill him.
I did it once.
And then
Come
you-
on.
I had like negative
You're
60
traumatized.
karma on that one.
Yeah. so then this wipe, I finally like, and I mean, I've literally played like 110 raids, I think, probably maybe 20 scav runs, but this is like the first one where I'm like, all right, I'm actually gonna like pay attention to my karma. I think I had like 0.12 or something, which is like nothing, but still, it's like, all right, it's not -7. And then I get a quest that's in one raid, you have to leave with 3 backpacks.
For
Like a
fence?
scab quest?
For a
For
fence-
fence.
It was a
yeah,
fence
yeah,
quest.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all I could do at the end, towards the end of the raid, it was a factory raid, and I had like 2 minutes or whatever before the quest was over. I'm like, I really want to finish this, so I saw two scavs in a fight. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just kill this scav. Hopefully he shot the other one, and I kill the scav, take the bag, and now I'm negative 0.01 because I killed the scav even though he was shooting. It's like, oh, come on. Now I don't want to do scav runs anymore again. Like,
it's brutal.
it's so sad.
I still have nightmare flashbacks of losing 18 full points of
Bro,
rep in
that
90
was
seconds.
insane.
Oh yeah.
That was insane.
When they first introduced the rep system and I killed 3 raiders after I was 6 points of scav karma on like day 4 of
Because
the
you were
win.
the first one to 6.0,
Yeah.
and then you were the first
But,
one
like,
to negative 12.
to be fair,
Yeah.
I cheesed the shit out of it.
Yeah,
And like I had community members like
'Cause you're
killing
figuring it out.
AI scavs, and then I'd kill them because I wanted to see like what
Yeah.
the
What
progression
was their
bonuses were like.
Yeah.
And then I killed 3 raiders and watched it code -6, -6, -6, and went, that can't be right. No,
Yeah.
it was right.
I say you're the one that found the way you were broke.
Yeah, and
You're like scav karma.
and the
was
thing
broke.
that was the weirdest part about it is that I went, hey BSG, this is a real issue. You're gonna have to fix this. It was like the first week of the wipe.
Didn't
But
you
so
reset
can you
your
fix
account?
that? Nah,
Didn't you reset your account
I
to
couldn't.
get rid of it?
couldn't reset it for 3
It was
weeks.
the first-
Yeah.
It's
So
yeah, but
I
you
played-
also reset like every 3 weeks though.
Uh,
Like bit botch, didn't you? Right?
I used to do-
$1,000
I used to do-
reset,
I used to
$1,000
do-
here reset.
I used to do like rolling donos back in like point 10.
Every time I saw you, you were like level 6.
Bro, but
Yeah.
negative 6 scav karma is like the ultimate 0 to hero on your scav. You're already getting blasted.
Yeah,
off
so
the
I was
road.
I was negative 12 at that point.
But how do you get it back though? You literally can't.
I
you
didn't.
You do 1,000 runs while being shot at without.
You don't come out of that hole. So I couldn't reset my account because it was like day 5 of the wipe. So I played an alt until my main account, which was at the time it still had a Sherpa tag on it. So I played my main. I left my main account to the wayside. I played an alt until the 3-week timer was up, and then I started over again. I was way set back.
That was
That was actually pretty disheartening. I really didn't want to play Tarkov then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I did Tobias's challenge, and that like kind of brought it back for me.
Yeah. I found out the hard way that if you're over 6.0 karma, if you do one bad thing, no matter how much you're over, it'll put you under 6.0.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I saw, we were on Lighthouse, and I had a iron sight gun. I don't remember what it was, but we saw a scab that had like a tri-zip and a U-lock. I guess he had killed a PMC. And so I see him running, I got the iron sight, so I was like, oh, easy kill, pop, 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 pop. And then we roll up on him, and it was a scab, and I was like, no, like, I wonder how much I'll lose. And I was at like 7.8. And so I lost like 1.9
Right.
karma, and so to put me down, and I was like, that's unreal.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
So the way the karma system works, though, I feel like it doesn't incentivize being good. It just incentivizes balancing that. You can be, if you have positive karma, you can do 3 bad things. You just do 3 good things to make up for it, right? But if you're like at 0,
or negative.
Yeah, or negative. It's like
struggling.
You start getting shot every time you spawn in.
Yeah.
At -6, that's like struggle bus.
I don't know how they would even fix it though, but yeah.
I was playing with
I don't
Dunk
know
yesterday. I was playing with Dunk and Jay, and a scab, like, she shot off an airdrop. She looted it, guy killed her, and I walked up. I'm like, yeah, this guy's looting her body. I'm gonna kill her. Killed that guy, lost all my rep. It's like, I wish they would implement it where
some visual thing.
As a team, if you're a team of scabs, if one of those scabs kills
You
a
should all
friendly
be- you should all
scab,
be
they
red.
should all
Yeah,
be
okay.
red, and
They should be
you
linked.
don't lose all your rep for killing,
Right.
one person.
Right.
Guilty by association.
Yep.
Yeah,
there you
Pretty
go.
much.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I kind of hate scab karma, honestly. Go back to everyone shoots everything. You get
Yeah.
a wiggle, and they might betray you or they might help you.
Well,
that
that's
was
what
like that was
that's
good.
that's what it was like implied in the early trailers, where like
Yeah.
in one of the early trailers, there's like some scabs looting a body, and then there's a part where the trailer's like, "Do what you want," and then he like shoots the 2 other scabs and takes their.
Yeah.
It would be an interesting world where the scav karma was built outside of scavs killing scavs.
Yeah.
The quests is what drove the karma, and it was still a free-for-all out in Tarkov. You know what I mean?
Like they already have.
And we never had that system. We never had the old with VoIP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I
VoIP is
mean?
the
So
big
like
Yeah,
you have the
wherever-
scav
that's why you have
class.
to wiggle and
The
stuff.
thing
Yes,
that
it's
I-
all just a wiggle.
I guess the thing that I don't get about it is like the scabs are supposed to be like the leftover criminal element of the city, right?
Mhm.
So why are they all on the same team?
But they should be.
Wouldn't
a bunch
you just
of
be
scumbags. Some of them should be homies. Some of them should just be like
Right.
Total
You'd have like cliques, little gangs or whatever, but I
Exactly.
don't understand like all of them are all on the same team. They're all supposed to be nice to each other because they all somehow belong to Fence. I don't
Until
get
Fence wants you to kill 7 of them as your scab.
Right, and somehow the rep gain is
Yeah.
less than the rep loss.
Yeah.
So unless you're Fudge, and you meme it up and tell them that you need to get shot in the leg by a scab, and then you shoot him in the face in
I saw
retaliation,
that
and you're good.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have implemented like just the concept of choice in one quest. The one where you get the folder.
Oh yeah.
Is that bad rep evidence?
The chemical.
Chemical.
Yeah.
Chemical.
Yeah.
Oh, chemical. Yeah,
That
yeah.
is such a cool thing that I feel like nobody talks about. They could lean into that so much more.
Yeah.
Where
They
it's
really
like
could.
you have to choose. Now they need to make it clearer than I think they do in the game, because a lot of times you don't realize that this one thing you're getting, you're making a choice. You just whenever you click on the first thing, oh, I can turn something in, cool, and then all of a sudden it's like you see skier rep go down, and you're like, what did I do?
Well,
I
when
mean,
you got
that's
EOD
cool.
though, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the
It
rep.
used to, though,
Yeah.
it used to be kind of a big choice because if you would choose, I think it was like skier, or proper, you wouldn't have enough skier rep until because they didn't have enough quests
Yeah, right, the
originally.
rep- the rep
they didn't have
penalty,
enough
yeah,
quests, so
right.
you couldn't
So there was
get.
a
I think
hard
it
choice.
was skier. You couldn't get a max if you turned it into proper therapist.
Really?
Because they didn't have the quest lines yet.
Yeah.
They didn't
Right.
finish it. It was so slow.
They changed one of
Playing
them
back
now
then.
where I only found out afterwards. You give one in and you can get a syringe case.
Yeah, the cases
Yeah,
they don't work
yeah.
for that.
Well, I
Yeah.
need that. I was literally trying to make money for that thing.
This patch is the only time I've handed that quest in to anyone other than Skier because of the syringe case.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to pay him 1,000,000 rubles because
No.
you
No,
just get
you
enough
get the rep from the tasks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
No, I pay him
Rubles
$1 million
is a-
so that I
is a
can
waste.
get rid of it.
Yeah,
It's
just I don't want to see it
it's
anymore.
like
Get out of here.
mark all as red in my email. Like just
Yeah.
get rid of the badge. I don't want to see this in my list anymore.
That is kind of nice. Going back to what Clem was saying about like just the amount of content right now, it does feel like there's so many tasks, and a lot of us in this room are the completionists that try and do all of them. But if you're not, it's nice that there's so many that if there is a quest line or a quest you really don't want to do, you can probably get max traders without doing that one for
And
the
it just-
most part.
It just used to not be a thing, so that decision was weighted
true.
heavier than it is like now. It's kind of just
Yeah.
like, what do you want as your reward?
That was back
right?
when the tasks had like time limits.
Yeah. I mean, I would even
Yeah,
like to
like
see
the
it.
PMC kills inside
That
of
was
like an
interesting.
hour.
Punisher
Yeah, kill
parts.
when he
Punisher. Yeah, people complain
Yeah.
about Punisher.
Punisher?
Yeah.
There was like
Yeah.
3 people I saw actually pull that off. It was like
What, the time limit?
the time
Yeah,
of the
we had
Punisher
time
You
quest.
didn't do it?
No,
Yo, Baz is
you
such a
smashed
bad at
Factory.
video games.
You
So
good.
You go factory, yeah.
Factory, you just smash Factory.
Yeah. No,
Just
I
Diamond Factory.
Yeah.
this remember back in the day how, and I only know this stuff. I wouldn't remember any of it if I didn't do history of Tarkov. But when you look at like therapist, level 1, 2, and 3, like the stock, you realize there was like 11 items. Now there's like every item in the game.
I honestly think the traders have too much stuff. I don't think they should sell most of the ammo they have. They don't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't
Way
barter
too
any of the
abundant.
armor.
What I was
They
gonna
should sell basically the bare minimum, and some quests should get you some cooler. Just because they would create more scarcity.
Sure.
I like finding cool.
It's like
That-
you want to
that
go in a
doesn't
rage,
exist.
kill a guy
It
with a
creates
slick,
that
and be like,
value
"Oh, this guy's got a slick. I can't buy this. Can't get it on the
Yeah.
flea market either. Like
That's
this is a
how
big
it
deal."
used to be when they didn't have flea market.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you see someone. What was the armor? Like there was a
Fort.
tactic.
Fort.
The fort, but then like the tactic was like the next where they started
Yeah.
the armored rigs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you still didn't have the flea, but you're like, oh man, he's thick.
Remember when they
The
introduced
when you could wear that with the body armor.
The tactic.
That was so
But
broken.
you
I
couldn't
fucking
get any of
hated
it,
that.
so you see somebody turn around like you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, he's a gamer.
You get that same feeling now
Fast
though,
MT with a
the
mandible?
goons. Like
The goons
the
are
goons, you
scary.
get that
Early
same
days?
feeling again.
Well, yeah, because their armor you can only get it either
Well,
from
the
killing a
grenade
player.
launcher, yeah.
You can
Yeah.
only get it
Yeah.
from killing a
That's
player
the
or
one
fighting
you
in
wrote
raid, and that's what's exciting about it. It's because like you get rewarded for PvP by getting an item you can't normally get anywhere else, or you find it on the bosses, which is only in raid.
Yeah, the armored rig is super good too.
Yeah.
It's the only armored rig that's +5 that can actually tank 3 BP.
Yeah, it's like
It's
90
really
dura.
good
It's so
one.
We're
sick.
talking about the
Yeah.
Rogue Boss one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
It's
like,
really
it's
good.
like the green
boys.
one. It tanks 3. It's the only one that can in the game.
Yeah.
That's
But aren't they like one of the hardest bosses in the game? 'Cause
Yeah, but they're
story-
cheaters. They just you
Yeah.
either like they're
Oh,
either
yeah.
dumb and they run
Hard
into
is-
you, or you just die.
But
Yeah, they're-
why
It's
are
okay.
their
Many
guns
times.
like
The
20
armored rig
durability?
on them.
I've never understood
Uh,
the durability
Yours
of the
really-
worse.
I
It's,
don't
it's,
understand
it's the same reason why Mark Room has Dr. Loot most of the time. It's
Yeah.
because we can't make anything too good. Otherwise,
Yeah.
that's people will only
So,
wear the thing or
that
they'll only
change,
use the
like,
thing.
right?
So
That
Like, I
change
don't
for
wanna lose the
durability
pipe, I don't wanna
is
lose
a
the-
change they
Oh,
make
I'm
to
not.
the
I
killer
have
for the
Burning Motion,
farming
and
of
it's
his
sitting in a
gun.
nice
Yeah.
little corner of
So
my
they
stash
can
just
stop
looking
people from just like,
Like, you
oh,
look
my
cute
guns,
there.
my
Yeah.
guns.
Big
And
pipe.
the raid,
Yeah.
the raiders at first. That's why you can't just like the durability of the guns were set low, and now
Yeah.
that's just all of them.
Yeah, but
Which
the
I'm
honest-
fine
changed
with
it.
if their guns malfunctioned.
Yeah, if they're if your guns malfunction, it wouldn't be a problem.
There's aimbotting.
They shoot at us with 30 out of 100 durability guns, and they laser you across.
Yeah, with sub MOA
250
accuracy.
meters. Yeah.
Mid run.
That's fine.
Cheaters.
The bots are fine, dude.
But how long did it take everybody in this room to find them? Jesse, it took you
It took me,
as far as I'm concerned, they're not in the game. I've never seen
I
them.
got them in my
600
team
raids,
raid.
yeah.
Why?
Mine was
I'm
5 or 600
I'm
raids.
300 raids in looking for them, and I still haven't.
But that's
Your
why
Lighthouse
I
offline raid when you were testing one of the bugs. That's the only time I've ever seen.
They're 100% spawn
yeah.
chance if you run offline.
Yeah,
With
if
bosses
you
on.
enable bosses, yeah.
But if
I did
they're
in
so
runs.
hard to
Online.
find, then
What's that?
why are their guns so bad?
It's so
And they're
that's
hard.
the-
And they're hard
It's
to
a
kill.
little like.
On
I
that
get
single
it's
it's
not-
not
bummer.
every single time for
I
like
like I
runs
do.
in a
I
row.
kind of like the idea of the
Offline.
weapon durability,
Yeah.
but the fact that you just killed all 3 of the goons, hopefully because you're alive.
I completely
I'm
agree.
stripping their guns, and it is kind of a waste.
Yeah, just throw a gun over
Yeah,
it.
when
That's
I-
what I
I'm
want.
leaving
When I
so
find an
much
AK
there.
in a box, if that's 20 durability, I understand. But if I kill the hardest boss in the game,
Right.
he's probably taking
He's
care of his
probably
gun.
taking care of
It's
his
a-
gun. Like, what
And you
is-
know it's
what
all
is that?
because of anti-RMT.
For sure. I
Because the
understand
only
that.
person you can sell it to is Fence.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I always wish that the
So you
guns
just
that you
strip the parts?
found, like on the
Yeah.
bosses, like if they have 30 durability, whatever, but the max durability is like max. So like
it's
you can take
repairable?
you can
Fix it,
extract and then repair it and actually use it. Because
Yeah.
like the whole point of Tarkov is like risk and reward. So like
Right.
if you're risking your life to kill the goons, like you want to be able to like take their gear and use it. But
Yeah.
like
I hate that.
So,
I hate
like,
that
the
backpack.
bricks and stuff are worth
Oh
it.
yeah, that backpack.
Yeah, the backpack is
It's so sick.
But
Which is
it's
sad
how much
too,
KP?
because like the RSAS. Oh,
I know.
It weighs
Oh,
20
their
kilograms.
guns are so
Yeah.
good.
Their guns are so cool
I love that I can finally get like an RSAS
in raid.
in raid besides just like the
And
shoreline
fight
like
for it.
216 spawn and like fight for it.
Yeah.
But now it's so broken. Like I'm not using it.
Yeah, what's the
obviously.
point?
So like, what's the point?
Mhm.
But
You
it's
can't
such
hit it
a
in for
fun
gunsmith.
gun, and I'm just like sad.
And you can't hit it in for gunsmith because
Yeah,
it's too
'cause
broke.
they're
You
Yeah,
gotta have
it's too
60%.
requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do?
You stream on Twitch and get your viewers to give you one.
That isn't a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But
what
I
Flame
would
was saying
never-
about the traders, like, I completely agree. I'm working on like this like thought experiment I've been writing down, but I was like, because the big thing everybody says is right, like get rid of the flea market, right? Like that's the you see that all the time.
It's not the
And
flea market.
So I know. So
It is not
I
the
went
flea
in. I went in and I said, well, how many completely dripping meta kits can I build without the flea market?
A
And
lot.
You can buy 2 mutants, MDRs,
Fuck tons.
A lot.
SR25, Scar
A lot.
Assassins,
Yeah.
Scars, and it's like it's and I understand it's a complicated problem. I by no means think that I know how to solve it, but flipping it
Who
where
do you
it's
think
like
you are?
we have all these things.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was gonna say we have all these like mechanics where the game does give us a way to find these cool guns, a sick RSAS, an
Sick.
M700 with cool
But I
scopes
want
and
it
stuff
to
like
be
that.
usable.
But those are broken.
Yeah.
But at any time I want, if you grind to high enough level, you can buy 3 or 4 or 5 meta
what-
kits an hour. What if we flip that? What if we couldn't buy the thing and you had to go get the thing? And
Yeah.
if you got the thing, it was full durability.
I've been saying something like that for a while before the flea market limitations, which I think actually were a really good solution. Like for example, like a mutant, you can find it in raid. You used to be able to get it on the flea market. You can get it at the traders, and you can also get it off players who bring it in raids because they bring it in a lot.
Yeah.
So you have 4 areas of the game where you can acquire one item that's really good, arguably best in slot. Now let's say that mutant is now only found on night. It's the only spot in the game where you
Yeah.
get that gun. You still
Yep.
can't sell it on the flea market, but when you have one, you're like, oh, hot night. Oh, he has a mutant. Holy. And then you kill a player who brought that into a raid. You just got heavily rewarded for a PvP situation. You're like, oh my god, this guy's a mutant. Holy because you know you can't get it from the trader.
Yep.
You know you can't buy it from the flea market, and you're so
Yep.
excited that you found it. And that feeling would last like 90 to 120 days past a wipe because of just how
For
rare
sure.
that one thing is. And it's because
Like the
that,
pipe.
yeah,
I'm never taking it out.
yeah, it's so cool.
It's so cool. Never
And so,
Oh, yeah.
if
Yeah.
there's various economic areas of the game where players can acquire items, whether it's traders, flea market, in raid, or on bosses, or in containers, or on marked room, wherever it is, you can spread all of these high tier items around and limit them to specific areas. And it makes them so much more exciting to go find because instead of getting everything everywhere, you have to go focus on one specific avenue of the game in order to find that one item that you want. Or if you get lucky, you kill a player that has that on them because they wanted to be ballsy and bring it in. And again, that's exciting and it rewards PvP. Gives that people that sensation back when you could sell stuff on the flea market off the players. Because,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like people are like, oh, sweet, slick, go sell it for like 300K. But it's like, instead of like selling it, you're like, oh, I can use this. You
and
know?
it kind of gives you a little bit of that gear fear. I know we don't really have gear fear, and we're like, hell
Yeah.
yeah, I'm rocking it with like a Taz and a slick, but like you just go with it. It gives you a little bit of that gear fear because you can't get it.
For sure.
And like I'm a little torn because traders you put in all the time to get them on max. You do your quest, you get your rep. I want to be able to buy stuff.
That's what everybody does. They're just like, once they're level traders, okay, I can finally play the game. I can buy all the guns and ammo I want, buy 300 rounds of BP every
so
reset.
So I like the reward, but maybe you're saying like kind of tone it back instead of like 5 MDRs and like all this other stuff you can buy like perfect. I would still, if they put that where you can use other guns that you find in raid off.
One thing I missed from Alpha was M4s
cut back the traders, and it's a nice balance, I think.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's interesting.
One thing from Alpha that was really fun was building M4s.
Yeah.
You found the receivers, you found the barrels and handguards. You couldn't really get them from the traders because for whatever reason they didn't sell them. But you'd like find all the parts for an M4 and you'd finally like put all of the parts together and you're like, oh, I finally built it. And then it was such a really cool feeling because you could only find the parts in raid. You just couldn't get them anywhere else.
And the only way to do that now is to force yourself to do it.
Some of the best Tarkov content of all time was Smoke buying an AK,
building
all the parts off of
raids.
it, going into a raid, and just playing it out for the whole raid and finding a dust cover and
trying to
putting
put
it
it together.
It was so fun. It was just like his Tarkov streams were like the most Tarkov, the most like I feel like what Nikita would say.
He took 2 weeks to find the alkali, dude, for the quest. He kept having to go shoreline, looking around, and there were less people in the raid. It was a lot more. It's kind of like his DayZ streams, where it's a little bit more ambient, atmospheric.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, I do miss that vibe a little. I know there's always the whole vibe of like, the good old days are gone. I think there's a lot of things about how the game is now that are fantastic that get overlooked a lot.
For sure.
Because, but there are a lot of aspects of the game back in the day that were either intentionally removed or they were lost just due to additional mechanics and whatever that I think are worth talking about. Like just the traders having...
They have too much stuff. They have too much stuff.
Painkillers. I remember like car med kit got you through like half of the wipe, which is a car med kit because you could only get Salewas on like the first floor of Shoreline on the resort. That was like the only place you could get them, and that's where you had to go there to get those things because the locations actually like mattered for a lot of the items.
And you went into raids to look for stuff because you knew you couldn't get it from the traders. There wasn't a flea market, so you couldn't just go buy it.
You couldn't.
So like you would go to okay, we're going to interchange because I'm looking for this specific thing because I know it spawns on these shelves here, and that's where you went to go get the item, and it created traffic in all these areas around the map. Rather than now where it's like after people have progressed, they kind of just hit the high value spots and then they leave the raid and they're just out of there.
Yeah. What do you guys think if more of the quests were like the Golden Pocket Watch, where it was an item that was like an instance item, that was somewhere where, and even if it could be dynamic, right? It could be like it's in the 2-story dorms, but maybe it spawns in a different room every time or whatever. So you actually have to go look. The keys maybe have some value for all of these other obscure rooms,
like the GPU box for mechanic in director's office.
The majority of those tasks are all early game.
Yeah, because they're the old ones.
Yeah, the later quest got lazy.
You don't have the issues with RMT. You don't have the issues.
Pick up a folder. Pick up a folder. Pick up a folder.
Yeah, there's no RMT issues. You can't craft your way through it. You can't buy your way through it. Dude, it gets rid of so many of the other issues that I think a lot of the things that they've had to change for better or worse to try to control around, the flea market was great until people could buy their way through the quests. So then let's add Found and Raid to handle that. Oh, but then Found and Raid has these issues, and then so people are going to drop stuff for their friends for quests. Okay, we'll make it so that when you drop it for your friend, even
they should have just done what you did with your tag system years ago because that was like an amazing solution. It made so much sense. It would have just worked. Yeah, it would have worked, but SG.
Bandage. I only wrote all
the quote of the entirety of the last 6 years. BSG.
Like the AI with you, and you did like a whole thing with AI, and that was so fun.
I made 1 or 2 videos complaining about 1 or 2 things.
Explain that, what they were just talking about, because I have no idea.
The tag system.
Yeah, so basically, like right now, Found and Raid is just a binary on or off, right?
Yeah.
What I had proposed, I think in like 2018 or 2019. It was OG. Like I had my Blue Yeti, mic was, and I didn't script my videos, so it's just rambling.
Wait, you script your videos?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, dog. You don't. My audio video was like 90 pages long. Single space. But basically, I proposed that there's a number of different values that they can use in tandem to figure out all sorts of things. So it would be like, spawn type, and it would be scav, or in raid, like it spawned in a box, or trader. Or, so whatever. So you'd know where the item was created, right? Because you know how they have to just create the item out of thin air. It's either on the trader at reset, or it's in a AI's hands, or a player scav's hands. Just have identifiers. And I had like a list of like 8 of them. And then it was like, whether it's been sold, or purchased or brought into raid or dropped. It was like 5 values, and each one of them had 6, 7, 8 identifiers. And from that, I had like 10 different features that you could propose. Things like how many times has been bought and sold, how many raids has this gun been in, how many kills has this gun have. Not that they would want to do like a kill counter, but like something like that. There's so many cool things that you can get just from having the data that that corresponds to the history of the item. But right now, I have a spreadsheet on Twitter that I made. I photoshopped this like 2 years ago, where it shows the logic for found in raid, and there was like 27 different things. And when it says found in raid, like 90% of the things that found in raid is not found in raid.
No.
If you kill a PMC who brought it in, it's not
reward.
found in raid, even though you found it in raid.
Yeah.
But if you craft it, it was never in a raid, but you found it in raid. If you got it from a quest reward, found it in a raid, even though you never found it in raid. So like this logic tree around like, there's only one path to get like found in raid, or there's only one path to really get it for found in raid, and like most of them don't apply, and all these other things do. And it's because it's just kind of a hacked together solution, where if they just added, rather than having one true or false value for found in raid that they set arbitrarily, if they had like 5 values that all had one of 4 things, then they could do an infinite amount to
and now it doesn't even matter if you have the check mark or not, depending on the item.
Yeah.
Because found in raid status on a Bitcoin means all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That it's all bandages. Like
that's exactly what it is.
Oh, we made another problem.
Another
Oh,
one-
it's okay.
Another one that doesn't make sense to me, like when I was going for the billion grind, like last wipe, a huge problem was like picking up items. Like the item could be found in raid, but there was still a limit, and it still exists.
Yes.
today.
That's no.
And I've ran into that Bitcoin.
Oh, you found 5 bitcoins? Fuck you.
GPUs.
I found 4
damn it.
GPUs
I would
in
post,
Shoreline.
like,
4.
I would post,
I
like,
was solo.
This one? I found
Yes.
5
No,
Bitcoin
that's
on
not
Lighthouse.
correct. But they had the in-raid limit, so I found 4, and I can't carry 4. They're all found in raid, but I just looted the whole resort because they hit like 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Unless you exploited and did some bag janky,
Still
and then
doesn't.
you could
Well,
carry
they
them.
fixed it.
Well, they fixed it now, right?
Yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
fixed
That's what
it,
I used
but-
to do, bro. I used to do that
Yeah,
shit.
dude, yeah. Drop picker
But
bags.
I find it a little silly because it's like I literally found it in raid.
Yeah.
Like let me pick up
And it
as
seemed
much
like-
loot as possible. That's kind of the point.
It seemed like a simple solution.
I want
Like,
all
if
of it.
item is found in raid, then
Yeah, it shouldn't count.
RMT limit shouldn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Surely a simple, like, logical solution would be unless you're loading solo with a party, everything else is found in raid apart from you or the group of people you're with.
Yeah,
Like
that's-
an easy logical
that's
like
what-
scripting to say anything you find apart from your party is found in raid, and you can take what you want.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought too, because like they have that information, right? Like if I have a quest to kill PMCs and loaded with sealable and shoot him in the face, that doesn't count because it knows he's my teammate. So I've always thought that too, where it's like,
well, some of them do. Some quests count with like teammates, and some.
well, like
don't.
some things like tags, but like most of the kill quests don't. So it would be interesting, yeah, if like everything outside of what was in your squad was considered found in raid because you found it in raid.
I think that would be a little abusive though with the server selection still in.
I mean,
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah,
true.
you could
The
just select
mothers-
one server with your
Select one
homies.
server,
as-
Speaking
Yeah.
of server selection, that's another issue. I don't feel like you should be able to select.
Agree.
slice of
Yeah,
the
it should be
server.
regional lock based on your ping, because like
Or-
ping exploiting's been around for a long time.
Or at least like just generalize it. NA East, NA
They
West.
increased the
NA
ping
Central.
limit.
Yo,
Yeah, ping
9
exploiting.
p.m. 9 p.m. I'm going to Turkey, baby.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
nobody's there. I'm gonna free farm whatever I want.
Oh, is that how you guys farm? Am I the only streamer that plays on auto servers? I probably
play-
Yes,
I play
you
auto.
literally are.
I play
No
auto.
wonder why you're getting bullied in Turkey.
You're getting forced on a New York City
until they
server.
find
to
out
get-
what your 3
Right.
servers are, and then they just follow you, and then it's easier to stream snipe.
Then you-
If-
I will
if
stop
I don't
on
know
a
what
single
servers
server.
I'm on, you can't know what servers I'm
I
on.
play auto too, bro. You're not alone. It's all like that. That's all I
That's
play.
crazy.
I would play auto if Laz wasn't so bad.
I hand select me. Always have.
I rotate my servers every couple
Every
of
day.
days.
If I run into viewers, then I just change whatever I selected, and then I go to those.
Yeah.
Don't find me then
You
either.
got like a list, so I got like 6 now because I
Cut down.
Logic showed us how to figure out which ones were kind of such.
Yeah.
So I got a few that are like, okay, I don't really run into anything, so I do like 2 or 3, and then like halfway through the day, or if I have something weird happen, I rotate to the next 3.
You know what the best part is though?
Because I
is-
gotta restart the game anyway. honestly.
I've had this talk with a lot of different streamers, and some of them are like, "Yo, I'm not gonna name any of them, but literally it's ABC," and people are like, "Oh, okay, cool," and then someone else is like, "Yo, DEF are the best 3 servers," and then someone else is like, "Yo, GHI are the 3 best," and it's like, So just auto US is what you're telling me, because everybody has.
I'll get that, but
it's a bunch of Venn diagrams, and they all literally are all the servers.
I'll get that, but it'll be like those are the servers that the hackers are on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like the next 3 of the servers that the hackers are on, and then the next 3, and
Hackers on
eventually you
every
get down the list. They
goddamn
all
fucking
have the
server.
hackers on them. Yeah. Same.
All right, let's actually. I want to talk about this. All right, it's my podcast. We can fucking talk about it.
7:30.
So it seems like folks are saying
Oh wait, 7.
it's not unanimous, but it seems like it's not controversial that cheating seems to be an issue.
Yeah, it's
So what is it that you guys experience that makes you sus about things? Because all I hear from Twitch chat is people flying around, and I've never seen a fly hacker in 10,000 hours.
There's
of
guys
video.
that blatantly tell you over VoIP that they're
I
cheating.
can
Never
literally
seen it.
hear. Let me.
It's
tell
happened to
you
him
your-
multiple times. He's got video of it where they admit to him openly that they're cheating and heckling.
But that's also not a fair comparison, because he VoIPs to everybody he possibly can all the time.
Well, yeah, but so do I.
So it's a.
They can see my KD.
You want to know how I know?
This man is flying.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Just
But
saying.
still, to this day though.
It means that it doesn't happen to him often.
I'm not denying it exists by all means.
Yeah.
I've seen all the clips, but you can't not have if something. It's not rampant. It could explain to me how fly hacking could be rampant when I have 10,000 hours and I've never seen it. It might be common,
I mean,
but rampant.
Well, you also could be
It
known.
is very rare.
Yeah, those
Yeah, so I know for a fact Sherpa badges have dev tags, and they avoid them at all costs. They will leave a raid the moment that they
Dog,
see
if
Jesse
anything,
show.
cheaters follow me and with me on purpose.
Sometimes
if anything,
they do with
they don't
Summit.
avoid me.
Summit got whacked 3 times, 3 raids in a row through doors like an, and then he rage quit because that's what they want.
But did they fly around?
I mean, they probably
On
said
one clip they did.
I mean,
Yeah.
both
Did
fly
One clip they came to the floor.
How many fly hackers have you seen?
10.
Wow.
Jesus.
How many have you seen?
And it's always
Since losing the Sherpa badge, 25 or 30.
How many have you seen?
one since Alpha.
So I'm not crazy. Okay, cool. How many have you seen?
3 ever in my rate.
Okay, so it's not. It can't be rampant if there's 3.
I wonder if it's something server related, like if they just like, because look, the person I see that sees it the most is Tix. He's EU. So what if it's these EU people that can only play on a certain selection of NAE servers? He's on NA East.
I'm on an East. Well, so is he.
Yeah,
But he plays auto.
No, but most of my servers I end up with on are.
So there's the argument that there's hardly any, and then there's your interview where the guy says he sees 2 every raid.
Yeah, but going back to what Clinton said.
No. But
Which
also,
can also be marketing.
just because you cheat doesn't mean you have any idea what you're talking about at all.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
we figured
That's
that out.
that's fair.
He started with 5, and I asked him 2 questions, and he was down to maybe 1 other than me. And here's the thing: if it changes your perspective when you're a cheater, that means there's a cheater in 100% of your raids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
confirmation bias is absolutely.
So
I've
again,
been
it's
told
like
the
not a
exact
fair
same.
comparison.
Won every raid by multiple cheaters that I've watched and talked to.
I
Like,
feel
ones
like-
that I've not been put anywhere. Like they say win every single
Which could
raid.
also be marketing, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way to know either way.
I feel like
Yeah,
most of them avoid you though. Like I was chasing one down on labs for like a straight.
I
10
get
minutes.
actively
Wait,
avoided.
you think they avoid? You saying they avoid me?
They avoid you. If they
Dog,
avoid
I
you,
have a
Not
fucking
you.
28%.
No, not like you.
Oh,
He's saying,
okay.
he's saying a vast
no.
majority
So
of
like
cheaters
a
don't
vast
They will
majority
avoid
of
the
cheaters
conflict.
don't want their
Yeah.
KDA up, so they avoid players at all costs. Like labs, I chased that guy 10 minutes around, and he kept telling me to f off.
No, but I'm talking about flying around.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know, I'm saying that
right.
most of them I
Those
think will
guys.
avoid you rather than
Yeah.
like if you don't like as long as you just don't go to the high tier loot, they'll don't mess with you. But the second you get close to like athletics or something, they start like they get close to you. And
Restart
they're, like,
athletics.
yeah, they'll start like shooting next to you. They'll start like popping shots near you, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?" And then the second you get like really closer, it's like, "Bap, you're dead."
Yeah, but how do you,
reason
but
we
if
just
you don't
don't
know
die.
you're close to a LEDX, it seems like
Yeah.
every 15 minutes you're just randomly getting shot at. Is it sus? Do I not see him because the lighting on the indoors is foggy and it's dark? Or is it because they're not there and they're invisible because of some bug? Or is it because they're legitimately cheating? Or, again, trust me, I don't. This has been the roughest wipe I've ever had. And then the wipe before was the second worst. And then the wipe before was the third. It's continuously been getting harder and harder and harder.
It's okay.
Yeah, but yet somehow I can go and compete in all like the
No, I'm
games
just
like
fucking with you,
COD
dude.
and
I'm just fucking
CS:GO and all
with
these
you.
other things where everybody's younger and more cracked.
I do think that the cheating's out of hand, but I don't think it's like unique to Tarkov in any way.
No, I mean the only
But who cares if it is?
there's literally only one. There's one anti-cheat that works for cheaters, and that's having active admins with admin tools, they can catch them on that too, but they can catch them in the act. So like for example, like I run a Project Zomboid server. Like I've literally caught cheaters like red-handed because I'm a better cheater than him. I have all the admin tools. It's my server.
Clip it.
And
Clip
so check in. When you have the ability to have like general moderators, GMs, they can actually monitor people and like catch them in the act. Like,
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Later.
Bye, Ann.
Later, Ann. But that's really the only foolproof anti-cheat. It's a community-driven approach, and you have to have people who are willing to like actually battle cheaters. Because when it comes to the programming of it, you have cheat developers that are constantly getting past the anti-cheat, no matter what. Every single time there's a new update, that cheat developers are already working at cracking that code.
Yep, that's what they're paid to do.
I think that's partially why everyone kind of loves New Wipe for a couple reasons, because they're not fighting people with BP and like crazy stuff, but also your fights feel good. They feel better. It feels smoother. You don't have some weird stuff where they're like doing some crazy jumping around. So, like,
because it usually takes a little bit for them to update their hacks.
That's what I'm saying. It takes a second. So like that, I think that's partially why everyone loves early wipe, even if you run around with a freaking like shotgun.
And every technical update, you get 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 days.
Right. But what Clean said about ping lock, I mean, me and Jesse talk about it all the time, man. And I know all of you guys could probably feel the same way. Is I died in more desync, and that makes me feel like the guy's a cheater.
But that ain't ping.
It's not always
that ain't ping, dog. That's
net
net code.
That's just net code.
Well,
I could have 20 ping. He could have 20 ping, and he's still going to be 300 milliseconds behind.
But then when you have no talk on EU players. You goes freak. I was second floor where the jump over for the bed is, right? And this guy like left peeks me. And the left peek is worse, and I'm holding the angle, and I know the guy's coming. Like, I can hear him plain as day, and then he teleports in front of me and one taps me in the face. My first brain thought is, the guy's cheating, and then the guy was streaming. But one of my mods, like, clipped it. The guy turns a left peek, and we all know left peeks are worse than right peeks, and if I'm holding the angle, the guy had at least 2 seconds on me, like, I'm just standing there like a moron, and they just taps me in the face. I'm like, well,
Yeah. I feel like it's on that first day, Ullers. Remember when we talked about it? It's skills.
It's
and
yeah.
So
because not everybody has voodoos.
Yeah. Well, no. So like your soft skills, like start of the wipe, it's so smooth the fights because everyone's level 1 level 1 strength, so you're not having that movement buff when you're fighting. Yeah. Versus like the guys that wear level 4 armor now, no helmet with a meta gun. Like, they're doing it because they're playing the netcode to the what's end while having max. The netcode's already. Now you add that strength and speed to it. Like, it.
That's one of the reasons I've said strength should never buff your movement speed. I know it's probably very marginal, but like players should not be moving faster. If you want to move fast, you should just have less shit on. Just wear lighter gear. It's that simple.
Now they do
the number of times I felt amazing.
Swipe with weight and
the problem's still going to exist, though.
Too much.
It is. It's still going to exist with level 1 skills.
It should be slower. You should be heavier or wear less. I get it. Like I'm running a full K. I should be heavy. Max strength and like that was.
Well, I'm merely speaking about the actual speed buff itself on strength. So like obviously, if you level your strength, like you should be able to carry more stuff and be quicker and not be as slow.
It shouldn't be the same speed as a pistol boy when I'm decked and I'm like
agreed
full and I'm full bag. That's where it needed to change, but also it's
so
you can't carry nothing. I can't this wipe has been the worst because I can't carry anything. I was running off with VPO and like
part of the reason is
a small rig for weeks and my endurance still didn't get there. My endurance
part of the
still
reason
like
of that is
30.
because they increased the weights on like everything.
Guns, and they took 5 kg of max weight away before you got to yellow.
The attack 2 still was the same as what is it? Ray bag.
So I mean, that
doesn't make sense.
All of that stuff is totally 100% true, but all you need to do is sit and stand still and watch a character jog down the road,
run,
and then now it's a little bit better than it used to be, but it's still not better. That'll tell you everything you need to know. It's not that he's moving faster than somebody else. Again, all of those points, everybody's saying everything about the weight, the skills. It's all important. But it's like, it's just extra on top of the foundational netcode issues and performance issues of the server. That
third-party positional information getting disjointed.
Keeper's advantage. That's why we're all fucking W keers over here.
That's right.
Guys over here.
I got max endurance level 9.
Max endurance.
Hey.
That's so where that came from is you win the fights because you
That's
run
right.
at them because they don't. You got a 2
Your
second
green
delay.
weight, running full sprint,
That's
you
why you
turn
win
a
those.
corner, strafe in, spray transfer 3 people before any of them react. You won the netcode lottery.
See, another thing that is always bothered me about Tarkov is when you sprint, it's an instant change in speed. So when that happens, as soon as you hit shift, your client's sending information to the server that, hey, he was going 10, now he's going 20. But then you can let go of it. You can basically stutter step. We all do it.
Stutter step it.
Yeah, but
You don't want your gun
a lot
down,
of
but
that
you want to move,
yeah.
but you don't want your
So
gun down,
because
so
the
you do this all the
netcode's
time.
bad, it exaggerates it more because you're basically like tricking the server like fast slow,
slow.
and it can't send the data back to the clients quick
So it's
enough.
off.
Yeah, but COD works fine because COD has good netcode for the most part.
Right.
So when people are stutter stepping, it's relatively smooth. But Tarkov is on Unity, which is one of the engines that has some of the worst netcode out there right now. It's getting better, which is good. It's definitely improved, but still, like you know when you're really heavy and you hit shift, and you see your little bar go up, and then you go fast. It's been bugging me for years.
I
that
felt like that was more there. I find it kind of silly because it like
it doesn't
just,
doesn't do anything.
You're like
It's-
slow-mo.
yeah. You're like
I do like the kind of gradual speed up.
Yeah.
When you get really heavy, it's kind of silly with the slow mo like
Yeah.
running. I don't know what's going on, but like the
Maybe.
the immediate is really what's wild sometimes.
Yeah, it's just an instant change in speed. So like there's an inertia to like combat 80 strafing, and I think we all agree that was really OP.
It was
very strong, and it was just like fights that were like this on top of desync, right? It was just not good.
Yeah.
But now it's sprinting is kind of filling that gap, and it always has been. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
It's just because it's a really quick, rapid change in speed where it should probably just be a little bit more gradual, just a little bit slower, like not like a second or two. That's it. Maybe even a half a second. You're going like slow, and now you're full speed instead of it just being right when you hit shift.
Yeah.
I feel like you could still 80-80 though.
You can.
You can. I mean, like you can at max strength.
Like,
right?
I think the main problem is like if you send in like another input, like if you hold A and then you do like S for a split second
Right.
and then you go the other way,
Like,
it immediately cancels out.
You do like little.
It stops.
Yeah,
You kind of do like a circle. It's like
It's like doing a circle.
Like little
Yeah,
half moon.
Or actually Desmond taught me that you just do the WASD and you go in like a circle like this, and so this is the new 80s.
Yeah,
doing like little arcs.
You just sit in the circle, you do circles, and then kind of like peak. And
Yeah,
then keep
and it still works. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that feels like I got jelly legs in the game? Like you guys are saying that you shift up, and maybe again I'm totally fine being the only one who's dog shit, right? But you guys say that you shift W, quick peek, and one tap people, and yet every time I run and I go to stop, it takes 3.5 years for my PMC to aim. It takes a moment to settle, and then I start shooting, and the gun is like this. I can't hit anything.
I hate the gun.
Am I the
Sounds
only
like a
one?
skill issue, bro.
I don't.
Maybe it is. I mean, you 1v1 me, quick scopes on Rust, bro. But like, dude, I cannot. I used to be able to 1v4, and now I can't 1v1 ever.
I
If you
feel like
right click through the sprint, if you right click through it, you'll like insta ADS.
Yeah,
right through it.
it's
Whenever I do that,
gun
and I
raise,
right click
yeah.
and I start shooting, my guy's like,
Oh yeah, the recoil update broke all this
I'm
stuff.
pretty.
It's like just
you guys,
fucking
you guys
straight
remember
in
when
the ground.
they broke camera recoil and everybody's like, dude, the guns feel great.
Oh
like,
my
yeah.
god.
And
yeah.
they're like, oh, it's a bug, sorry. And then like we're back to like having a seizure like this all the time when you're shooting a gun.
Yeah.
I hate
It's
it.
so annoying.
It's like how Road to Vostok's camera recoil is right now.
Oh yeah.
If you hit yes, the whole screen shakes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I've never shot like a fully automatic like M4 crazy thing, but I'm pretty sure that's not that bad.
I shoot full autos
You
all the
can
time.
get
Like
in
it's
there
it's
and
not
hold it
it's
and
not
be-
like that.
You can be
Very
after it
tough.
still, even after run
Can you
like
hand it to
you
him
do
so
the
he can
title
see
stream
it?
where you run to target,
Just
you
tell,
get
yeah.
surrounding.
Yeah.
Then you're ready.
I understand how it goes. I understand how guns work, and I get it. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do that with like a shotgun. So like, why can't I do it with like an M4?
Do you see my
so
Newton?
it seems really silly and like kind of
Like-
it's overtuned. The weight, the recoil,
Yeah, that's
so
every
it's
fight.
overtuned.
Absolutely.
Every fight I right click and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna aim there perfectly center, and it's like I either wait 4.5 years before my thing is on target, right? Or I just mouse one instantly, and then you're looking at the corner of your scope and it's shooting at the ground.
Your problem is that you're right clicking. You just point fire everyone up to 40 meters.
Exactly.
With a laser
Right.
on.
Yep.
That's how
You
win
run
every
around with a
fight.
laser and you point fire everyone.
Dude, I had a better time when I was testing
That's
the
it. The guy, like,
ricocheting
comes
bullets
around
off
the
the
corner,
river in the
Yeah,
silencer
obviously I could probably
sus,
just hit fire.
literally
Yeah.
across the
I like,
customs.
you know.
I would say
Yeah, that's what happens
90%
if
of
you
the
shoot
times
before
I
you
hit
aim,
them
it's like
is
a
when I just had my
circle,
laser, just point fire and go
Yeah.
pop in your, and I'm like,
Literally.
I just f***ing hit him, and then 2 minutes later,
No,
I'd be
it's
trying
just
to line up
weird.
shot,
Yeah, it's
couldn't
weird.
hit him.
I recently did some like testing on it, and it's unbelievable. Like The point fire buff for the lasers is insane.
It's broken.
I was
so-
going,
dude, it's
I was
so
going
good.
5 meters at a time with an MP7. I had the rangefinder, so I was like 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters. And at 20 meters, point firing, like you turn the laser on so I know my point of aim is in the same spot, and then I turn it off. And point firing would be what you would expect. Through the mag, you're like, you go back up to the wall, at 20 meters away, your spread is like 10 or 15 feet.
Yep.
And you turn the laser on, and it's like a quarter.
Or an IR flashlight,
It's
right?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
IR
I get
flashlight
that
is
real
perfect.
close when I
Still
if I
does
could
it.
see everything, but like, it just works 20, 30 meters. You can have a mutant or an MP7 or something like
so
that, and
you
you're
tag
a
that on with
laser.
the desync, so you're already what, like
Yeah.
200 milliseconds, 300 milliseconds behind, and then you don't ADS or something.
Yeah, you don't need
So
that
far
time.
gone.
Doesn't
I only
It's
ADS
so
if I switch to semi.
Doesn't
Yeah.
FOV break hipfire though? 'Cause I'm pretty sure-
I missed this bug so much. It was an FOV bug back in the alpha. I don't know if you guys remember. You could go to your
Stretch your
screen. Yeah, you
arms
could.
out,
Basically, you have
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
I love that.
in games you have two
Ever
FOVs. You have world space FOV, which is what you see, and then view model FOV. Because when you're in first person, your character is really just legs and arms that are floating, and your view model FOV is those arms. And so you used to be able to actually stretch that out. And so now when like you ADS with some scopes and you have like all that scope shadow, and shit, it looks weird.
I hate
When
that.
you could do that in the past, since your gun was further away, it would line up, and so when you ADS, you had less magnification because your overall FOV was higher, but it was crisp. Like you saw the whole reticle and everything like that.
Yeah.
Your arms were just further out; they just looked like way deeper.
Yeah.
And they removed that because like, oh, it looks cartoony, and now that's also introduced a lot of problems. Like when you were showing the VSS, when you have 50 FOV versus 75 FOV, it changes where your shot alignment is because the bullets are coming out of the muzzle, and when your view model is out of sync with the world space, it's actually essentially putting your center of a screen out of alignment of where the gun is, and it sucks. And
At minimum versus max FOV, it used to be the same round, the same gun, whatever, was 130%, like 0 to 130% further away.
Yeah,
because the FOV shift.
Another
That's how it
thing
used to
that
be.
tilted me was like when they did the scope rework, I was really hoping they were gonna like fix the like what is it, the
reticle?
Yeah, the reticles and stuff like
they're
that.
still huge. They're
they're
huge.
huge. Like they ruined like some of the most popular scopes, and the only reason they were popular is because they were usable. Like I loved how big the Voodoo was.
You can't full auto using a Valday anymore.
Yeah.
Because the eye relief goes completely out.
The eye relief,
unless you have like a 30 recoil M4.
Yeah, they gave like every scope like terrible eye relief. I'm like, why?
The only thing that works is the razor.
Because
you
they
can
were
do it on the razor
they were
because you won't
too
ruin
good
the
relative to everything else being dog. So instead of making everything else, instead of making everything good enough, whatever, instead of making things between a 3 and 7, they said, "Nah, we're making everything a 2."
Except for the new one, the razor.
Except for the razor, which you can full auto and it's fine.
And you can buy it.
I'm still a Voodoo enjoyer. I like the Voodoo.
I love the Voodoo. The Voodoo is still my favorite.
And the Voodoo is still one of the best, but it's not
In the
as good
TAC
as it
30,
used to be.
you can put the TAC 30 at 1x and full auto somebody. It doesn't go out of
Watch all the old videos.
It does
see the
suck.
Bravo
I hate
and the
that.
Hammer.
So gross.
How good they were because they took up 90% of the screen. It was it was beautiful.
Yeah.
The Hammer and the Bravo, nobody uses them anymore because relative to the other things, they're dog
it's like this. You're all the way out here where it used to be.
And I miss those because like I want there to be an animation.
Options.
I want an animation on the LPVOs. I think the LPVOs are way too cracked because like there is.
Well, you do this.
There's no downside to using a Razor or a Voodoo. There is no downside. Like I like Insurgency where like you want to switch it and he grabs it and pulls it and then he pulls it back up and then it's zoomed in. Like
I just love how you can do that with telepathy.
I think exactly. And it's just like because all these scopes like the Hammer, the Bravo, and stuff like that are pretty good. They're not as good as they used to be, but they're still pretty good. But it's like you can put like a delta point on top or you can put a canted sight. But why? Why do that when I can just snap in and out?
Yeah. Or the Voodoo's already
and it's
one
like
time.
people are like, well, it's realistic. I'm like,
The only reason why is because
of
of the high LOD that goes through the 1x because they do the picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
It's higher than 4 if you look through like a 1x scope.
Yeah.
The reason that people put top X now is because of FPS.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
Double render,
Just for the fights.
You use a simple red dot, you don't have any FPS problems.
Yeah.
Are all hollows? So when I was doing some more testing and I had my hollow, I noticed that at least the EOTech that I have IRL, as you move it further from your head, it gets blurrier and bigger.
Yeah. Yes, it's real.
In this game, it gets smaller and smaller, and because I was testing the HHS, and the HHS is like, wow, but it's actually. I actually am not convinced it's broken. I was convinced, and then I'm not convinced anymore because there's just so many factors.
I just want like the big dots on the HHS when you zoom.
Wait, which one is the HHS?
It's the combo.
It's
scope.
the one that has like
but
the
that one
the
has the that one has So there's like increased recoil on zoom sights.
Increased
right?
recoil and accuracy. There's zero accuracy.
Yeah,
Like
right.
you
No,
shoot
but
it, and
this
it's
is
like
with
10
the in the
people
1x through the holographic. So if you just take the normal.
Yeah, so if you take the old, well, the 553. Sorry. Oh, if you take the 553.
Should have asked him on a date first.
If you take the old like 553 or the other 10 one, right, in 1 times, it's supposed to be exactly the same. And I've told them, like, why is this 1 times EOTech like jumping and you can put them side by side? That 1 times is actually a 1.5.
Yeah.
And that magnifier is a 0 or it's a 1.
Watch the latest Science or Sus hashtag exclamation point YouTube or whatever. I did all of the, because here's the thing, there's multiple things here that I learned something new for the first time in a long time in Tarkov, because mostly all the things I learned these days are like what's busted. But it's actually interesting how all the different weapon systems, because of the different rails and everything, right, they have to clearly mount the different sights in different places on the gun. But the thing is that they need the reticle to be in the same place. So you can have the same gun with like an AK. You know how there's the front like handguards that have the rail on top? If you put the reticle or the EOTech like on the front, or you can put it on the top rail, or you can use the HHS in the with the non-magnified version. And it's kind of like 3 different things, but the way that the reticles behave on all 3 are like 3 different things. Even though they should really kind of behave, you would expect whatever, when you move from like all the way back to the middle to the one on the front, you would expect like whatever changes to almost like get worse. It's like they're 3 different things. It's really bizarre.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Once again, thank you so much to our sponsor, BetterHelp. I spoke about this a bunch on the last episode, which I believe was episode 120. But I've personally used BetterHelp for over a year, and I can honestly say that it's had a massive impact on my own mental health, my just day-to-day quality of life. BetterHelp's an online mental health platform where you can get therapy, counseling, anything that you need to help deal with whatever it is that you might be going through. And trust me, I know we're all going through some right now, so I feel like the more we talk about how common it is for all of us to deal with any sort of mental health struggles at some point in our life, whether it's now or in the future, the more that the kind of like absurd stigma that comes along with recognizing that you might be dealing with something, that stigma goes away. And platforms like BetterHelp being so insanely accessible, affordable, and convenient make actually taking the steps to wanting to better your situation that much easier. You might be dealing with depression. You might be dealing with struggles with work, relationships. Maybe you want to be a better problem solver. Whatever it might be, therapy can actually help get you there. So if you want to see what they have to offer and help support the podcast, go check them out at betterhelp.com/podcast for 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/podcast. And I hope you enjoy the show.
I still remember that, like, Modder posted screenshots on Reddit of like a scope. He redid them. I'm like, oh my god, these look so good. And, like they look like real scopes.
And then PSG was like, "Were we doing the scopes?" We were all like, "Sweet,
oh, sweet,
like, it's gonna be sick."
And they were none of them we used.
Big disappointment.
Oh
Dude,
my
they need to hire that guy.
No,
Dude,
I only use one.
Yeah.
I only use a Voodoo. I don't even use a Hollow anymore. Cause like, why? Okay, so if I'm using a Hollow, normally like I'm assuming it's like close quarters. But again, why would I aim?
Yeah.
My gun is down here, and I'm shooting the ground when I right clicked instead of just point firing, and I hit him in the head immediately. And it's easy peasy. Compared to a Voodoo, now I have range, easy click. Or I still basically have a 1x, like a red dot, and it's clean. Like the Razor, like why would I run anything else?
The only reason why you wouldn't.
In your game, you literally killed everything else.
The only reason why you wouldn't is because you're like me and don't want to spend another 100,000 rubles just to put a scope on it, because I can't be my stash is just full of garbage because I can't be bothered. Like I already don't spend any time playing the raids because I insta die.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend all of the other time I'm playing the game clicking through 900 times to sell stuff. It's like, if the flea market had better UX and you could sell things in bulk properly and it only took a couple of clicks and you could compare the prices between what's therapist going to give you versus what can I sell it for, then it wouldn't be so painful.
Then Hyper would have 2 billion.
That's fine by me. I haven't had 2 million rubles all white.
I've adapted. I can sell like a junk box in like 10 minutes.
Dang,
it's pretty quick.
I got there's not enough cocaine in Cuba.
But
for
that's because you've like mastered.
I remembered. I know like all the prices.
Right? The bad system.
But see, that's the thing is that like I did that 8 million wipes, memorized all of the things, and it just got to the point where like I don't want to memorize all of the prices of things. And then if I don't play for a week and they tweak a quest. Yeah. Or they change the spawn rate of an item, and now I don't realize, that used to be 20,000 rubles, now it's 2 million, because now you need it for this cool new quest that they just added.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to constantly either reference Twitch chat, reference a wiki, or reference a bot, or I have to click through and do right-click, type the thing in, or if I have the item, then do filter by item just to pull it up. And man. And back in the day, it was even worse. Because it didn't filter, it wasn't like ordered by price descending. It was just like, it was a mess. It's the best it's ever been, and it's still atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to hear. No, what are you going to say?
No, I'm still fangirling to that all you guys are here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
There it is.
No, it's sick.
Cool.
I'd love to hear we were kind of going backwards a little bit. We were talking about like the availability of stuff from the traders, not just the flea. I'd love to hear like your guys' perspective because you guys kind of like and we had that podcast where both of you were on, and that was like so good because like you guys and I generally, I'm a W keyer compared to a new person, but like you guys play a different game than I play. You know what I mean? Like
everyone.
And so I'd love to hear the perspective because the last time we talked. I was coming in with that Twitch chat mentality where it was like, these chads just want all this stuff. And a lot of you guys were saying this, like your wish list was the same as mine. And I was like, that's really interesting. So like, how do you guys feel about like the accessibility of meta stuff, particularly weapons, optics, the kind of stuff that's going to make you win a fight from the traders, not just the flea market?
The things that summarize it like the most for me, what tilts me the most is that the meta guns right now is, 7.62. And the problem with 7.62 is it's so easy to get. I'll play a labs raid, I'll kill like 4 raiders, I get lucky, I get 3 AKs, I get 400 rounds of BP. Cool. I go next raid, I wipe, 8 people on labs. Oh cool, they all have a meta mutant. That's another 2,000 BP, It's just like, I have over 10,000 BP right now, and I'm literally just like using it every raid, stacking it, and like buying all this other stuff. And it's just like, if guns are more usable, like, in my opinion, I think, you guys are gonna hate me for this, but like, I think the HK and M4 should go to being a laser beam.
I agree.
Totally.
The only thing I called it like back in the days, I used to call it.
I was shocked by that too.
I'm not gonna lie. You said a lot of things I don't agree with. I agree with that one a lot.
Just make it so that you can't infinitely buy them and build a meta kit, right?
Exactly. And what is it? It's just because like 5.5.1s are really hard to get. No one uses 5.5.6. The thing that balanced it was I called it the headshot machine because it only would kill people headshots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was volume.
Yeah, so it's like if you could aim and hit a guy's head, you won. It was 5.5.6. It's just like
if all of the guns were meta, there wouldn't be a meta. People could just use what they want because everything's cool.
Like back in like 12.8, the guns I missed seeing were like MP7s on labs, Vals. Like the Vals would dominate close quarters. The FALs would dominate like mid long. And then you have
the FAL are both basically unusable now.
Yeah. And then the HKs were like
no one runs vectors anymore.
HKs were like the chads that were like I can do anything. I can beam far range. I can beam close range. Like it was like it was all around. Like, you would see like crazy guns on labs. Like people had like these like weird like modified M4s with like candid sights, and you were like, damn.
Yeah, and it was like there were definitely issues back then, but it seems like they approached the issues
it's just
from like a backwards thing. You know what I mean? Instead of like balancing and maybe bringing some of the other guns up a little bit, and then some of the ones that were really good down and evening it out. They just took the 5 because that was like as much as. Back then, 12.8 was like some of the things were frustrating. There was a pretty wide variety of meta.
There's a large variety.
Val,
the guns that feel like good right now are only the 7.62 guns, and that's
because they have high TTK and they do just as much pen as everything else.
And like they have
the 308 MDR
because you can only hit one bullet on it. target.
But they
so
hold-
the bullet has to just be a headshot kill or a
7.62
thorax kill. Otherwise,
7.62 39 BP holds its damage at distance, so it's an all-purpose round.
Yeah, did you guys know that?
And you can hit somebody in the head 200 meters and kill them with 7.62 BP.
The only thing bad about
So I got a question for you guys.
55 to pull that off.
Did you know that with a Makarov and a TT, it has more damage at 200 meters than 995, 856, A1?
Yeah,
SSAP. Did you know that?
It doesn't have to depend on it, but flesh damage it does.
Like the best overall snipe round for like a 5.56 gun, if you're gonna shoot over 100 meters, is 8.55. There's no sense in running anything else.
So I've told you guys this before, but okay, easy question. Out of these three ammo types, what's the best? 7.62, 39 PS, M855, or 5.45 PS?
I mean, I miss with all of them.
PS.
7.62 PS.
Well, especially now because they buffed it this way.
Right. So
They buffed PS?
Yeah.
That's why PS, they
They
buffed
They gave it like 7 more pounds. I think.
So why is 7.62 PS good? It does really good damage. It has good pen, and it has no negatives besides like. Actually, it has no negatives at all. Actually,
And you can buy it from level 1 traders.
You can buy.
And you find it on scavs like
Yeah, it's everywhere.
All over.
Okay, why are those other calibers worse? It's because they do less damage and they have less pen and
They have more recoil. They have more recoil.
And they have more recoil. Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
Not only is 7.62 PS better just because it has the better stats across the board and it's way more available. What if now, let's say M855, 5.45 PS now have the same stats penetration wise, but they just have slightly different damage. But now 7.62 39 PS has +5 recoil, -5 accuracy. M855 has +5 accuracy, -1 recoil. 5.45 has 10% chance for light and heavy bleeds. No negative chances. Now they're all pretty much the same, but they're just slightly different. Which one would be best? It comes down to preference at that point now.
And the situation.
Yes.
You might have gone into a raid prepared for one thing, got surprised by something, and you were like, and that I felt like it was
Exactly.
supposed to
So
be
now,
Tarkov,
if all of those early game calibers were like directly comparable, like they're still slightly different, but they're pretty much the same thing. So now you can just use what you want. You can use an MDR. You can use a AKM. You can use a 5.45 AK and not feel like you're at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
It's almost like Call of Duty did it right by basically saying this gun has a lower fire rate but does more damage. This gun has a higher fire rate but does a little bit. So they basically all have the same time to kill.
Right.
Yeah.
They could, but unfortunately, because of the complexity, and not in a good way, not like clever, elegant complexity. It's like convoluted, stupid attempt to balance on top of spaghetti code complexity. You have this crazy thing where you can get True to Born in Heaven on a hatchling. If you have one bullet, I'd rather have a TT than 995 if they're 200 meters away.
Absolutely.
Because you literally will hit them and you'll do 33 damage.
Yep.
Because they have to turn the damage down so far, otherwise it would just be too good.
Yeah.
It's like, just make everything simple. And I wish we had 10 HP, and I wish that the bullets did somewhere between 3 to 4 damage, or 2 to 4 damage, and if you had class 4 armor and it was like a 4 pen bullet, it could penetrate and it would do flesh damage, and do like almost no armor damage. It would just go through it like it wasn't there. Versus if you had pen 3 bullet versus class 4, then it would do armor damage and it wouldn't do flesh damage, but it would hit you twice, zero the armor out, and then the 2 bullets would kill you.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you weren't wearing armor and you had the high pen round, 3 bullets would kill you. And if you have the middle of the round road, 3 bullets, the first bullet's going to zero out the armor, and the next 2 are going to kill you. The game has the time to kill is 1 to 5 bullets in the vast majority of the fights, unless you have some whack combination. Yeah. So why does it need to be so complicated when there's really only 5 outcomes?
Yeah.
Just make it
simple.
simple.
I hadn't considered, Clean, what you were saying, because a lot of that stuff is new, where ammo will actually increase or decrease the recoil. Obviously, the increase or decrease chance of malfunction is a newer mechanic, and then the increase or decrease bleeds.
There's a lot of different
that stuff
variables.
Are relatively new, and I had never considered flattening out the almost like tiers of ammo, because PS is like
low
a tier,
mid tier, high tier
and
ammo.
if you flatten the stats and then do that kind of stuff, then you give the player a little bit more agency because they feel like maybe their favorite gun is more viable, and then also this additional layer of maybe situational agency where it's I'm going to go against, I'm trying to get scav kills, so this stat might be more important to me than this stat. You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just really kind of making it to where players can utilize all the diversity in the game. When you keep saying same gun, same kit with the same scope, it gets really boring. There's hundreds of attachments. There's hundreds of different types of ammos, players should be wanting to use them based on their preference. When it's literally just M61, M62, and 762 BP, it's boring because you just see the same all the time.
The Navy's pretty nasty.
They destroy.
I get one tapped in my U-lock all the time.
I mean,
it's just another 308 round.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, but still, it's still
basically,
just 308, 762. I mean, it's there's so much that the game has to offer in terms of content, especially when it comes to attachments on guns, that players don't utilize 90% of it.
I feel like the only gun where you actually want to choose your ammo is probably the Val.
Yeah, agreed.
The Val is just like, do I want to do more flesh? I'll get like SP5. Do I want to pen something? Maybe I'll run SPP.
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't touch.
But like, it has like also the recoil values too. Like,
they ruined 9mm makes me
I
sad.
don't touch M80 and 9mm.
Yeah, there was that
I
time
kind of
when
miss
we
the
did the
MPX a
flashlights.
little.
When you say ruin 9mm, what you mean is they basically made AP non-existent, right?
Yeah, so I get the good stuff from my chat.
There's one bullet.
One of us. Truly one of us.
One bullet. Okay, we gotta talk about 45 AP. I hate it.
Oh yeah.
I'm disappointed.
It's so
I'm
good.
let down
It's
every
75
time.
damage. It one taps every limb in the game.
Yep.
Except for thorax.
Yep. It's
It
really,
is
it's really
so
broken.
Even FMJ or whichever is the
FMJ
Match
as
FMJ
well.
is
No,
fun.
it's the only
It's
bullet in the game that does
insane.
it.
Yeah,
What drives me
really
crazy
overpowered.
about that is that flesh damage change they did a while back, where like you die, like you take 20% like more damage now getting shot in black limbs.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they fixed that bug,
Yeah.
which drives me crazy because how do you fix
Sorry
a
about
huge
that,
damage
guys.
bug? You fix a huge damage bug and then don't think, we've been balancing the game bullets and damage
Yeah,
around a
flesh
bug
damage,
for 4 years. Let's not revisit all the ammo
So it's
values.
funny.
That's what they do every single time. It's like, oh, 995 was so strong, make it expensive, more recoil, and then everybody left HKs and M4s, and they went to the Val, and they just went, oh yeah, let's f this Val up, and they just destroyed it.
And they still tweak the fragmentation chance on 11 pen rounds. Like it's someone's job to change that number. And the fact that it hasn't done anything for 150 years actually blows my mind.
Bring my belt back.
This could, the thought of this could severely shift the balance of flesh damage on blackened limbs. You would think that they would have figured that out, but then again, we still have found and raid the way that it is. So.
Oh man. What's funny is in real life, again, realism. 45 9mm, they deal the same amount of hemorrhaging.
Exactly.
Exactly the same. There's a reason why the military has moved from 45 ACP to 9mm. They do the same thing. Just because it's a larger round doesn't mean it's actually going to do more damage. So, like, if you wanted to be realistic, 9mm would maybe have like maybe 5 less damage than 45 in the game. And you can maybe make 45 have a little bit more, just because it's a video game. You can edit the stats however you want, but it's like there's no real difference.
Yeah. Dude, this whole adherence to realism, I think that so many in the community are like I think they like need to live out their Chad fantasies of through the concept of like if I defend hardcore realism, then I'm a badass. Even though all I do is just farm in one server and avoid all fights. But I watch landmarks, so like I'm a Chad.
Dude, every time someone brings that up, I have to bring up the enchantments they're adding.
Oh yeah, dude.
I call them Minecraft enchantments. I can't wait to enchant my slick. It's gonna be so good.
Dog, all the best aspects of the games that were some of the best are the things that are their abstractions of real things in real life that aren't realistic, but they're abstractions that immerse you. And then so many of the things that they removed were actually realistic things that they removed for whatever reason. I just wish we could get over this whole thing. Like if you don't agree that something is realistic, then you're not a real gamer or whatever. Because here's the thing: so often they're wrong about what's realistic.
I'm not a military contractor running around getting shot at. I don't care that much. I like real guns. I like a cool that's cool because it's cool guns and stuff. But like, I don't want to walk 5 miles an hour with a 100 pound bag because that's how I would do it in real life because I can't move with it. I don't want my PNC to I want to get me in there. I want to play a video game.
It as an inspiration. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not as a hill to die on.
Realistic as playable.
Yeah, so
realistic as playable and it's still enjoyable. Like realism is cool.
As long as it's immersive and authentic to the experience, it should be in the game. If it's not,
and I would argue
you're
that
just making it more difficult than it needs to be.
I would argue that even realistic as playable, I don't know if that's the hill to down either, because I feel like what surrounds the core gameplay of like the time to kill. Like you were saying, you were like, maybe Call of Duty got it right, where the time to kill is very similar across the board, but then we can balance around here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if that core mechanic of like you and me are fighting, we're shooting at each other, that has to be balanced around it being a video game. And then all the layers around it, inspired like if the time to kill was way more like wonky and Call of Duty-y, but you introduce this game to someone new, they would still be like, holy cow, this is realistic. When I reload my mag, I'm going to reload an empty mag unless I think about this stuff. Like, nobody thinks that.
No, dude, we've all killed 17 people in real life, and we know what the average TTK is, realistically.
Clip it.
Yeah. the gunsmithing, like, when you're new to Tarkov, the things that make you go, wow, this game is realistic, has nothing to do with armor values or ammo values or anything. It's all the really cool immersive stuff of like getting my gear.
It's when you're walking through
stuff.
the dorms and a grenade goes off and the light goes and starts swinging and flickering. And you're like, oh,
that's
So
the game that
if
makes
we
me scream because I'm
yeah,
terrified.
exactly.
Somebody pops out of nowhere,
So
I scream, and I'm like, oh, okay.
If we
like,
can just agree to hone in on like the core gameplay of like fighting, that needs to be balanced like a video game. A video game, not real life. Not like it's
That's
a
the
video
fun
game.
of it.
And then when we layer all the stuff that's already in the game on top of that, I think you'll find yourself with a game that people would still call very realistic. You know what I mean?
And there's to me like a critical distinction again is the abstraction, realism, and immersion, and all of the conversation around that. And I think the best example of that is how fast you can pull the trigger. In real life, here's the most important thing to me, and you have more shooting experience than me.
I'll play a video right now.
Yo, Amy has
I can shoot. I have literally 1% of your ability shooting, but I can shoot like 80% as quick as you. But in real life, when you pull a trigger, when you pull a trigger, this is something that nobody realizes when they play games, but it's super significant that you can feel the click of the trigger and the reset and that feeling. When you click a mouse, you don't get that feeling. So the fact that I can shoot like 10 rounds a second or whatever the number is, right? But then they had to nerf it because they were worried about some other that was just like RMT. It's like we're going to ruin the experience for normal people because we will need to try to fix this other issue. They made it so that you can't that it won't shoot as fast as you click. The problem with that is that it feels like dog shit when you click 7 times and your gun shoots 4 times.
Yeah.
It feels terrible. And it would feel terrible like that in real life if you went click and a round popped off and then you felt
it's a safety issue. Like
yeah, and then you felt the reset, and then you went to pull the trigger and nothing happened. You think your gun was broken.
Mm-hmm.
But it's things like that where they make changes. People could say, oh, well, because of the mechanical. Like when I actually talked to Nikita about this, and he basically said you can't shoot X fast because of the mechanical limitations of the gun.
Bullshit.
And then I showed him with my AR-15, I am the furthest you can get from a Giga Chad shooter IRL. Just look at me and you'll see. And yet I have a video on me on Instagram going bada with a AR, and there's no recoil, and they're all headshots at 15 meters. You can't do that in the game with my heavily trained PMC. Like, immerse me in that. Don't make me feel more inept than I am in real life. I'm already inept enough.
I can't carry that 100-kilogram bag and run like I can't even walk. Like
I have a hiking bag full of 100 pounds in weights in my garage. Now I have it on film. I'll maybe release it someday. But I can jog further in real life with that than my PMC can, and I'm the least out of shape person in here. I guarantee you.
Okay, Amy, go.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to stir shit up.
This is what we're aiming with the gas.
I'll be that. Listen, I wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on female PMCs.
I want it.
I
want it. I think it'd be sick.
Like, I know a lot of people are gonna hold back or whatever on it, but like, I'm not trying to be that like them.
There's never been a female PMC ever, though. Ever before.
The realism.
Well, I mean, he's right.
Version.
In Russia, they don't allow women to fight, right?
If it didn't
so they don't allow it.
2028,
Except there's not only Russians.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You pick USEC.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'm all for it, but like when it comes to development, it's like you have to. Scum have this problem too because you have to make a whole nother skeleton. You have to make all new animations for a new skeleton and rig.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work, and that's what BSG has said in the past, but like if they could do it, I'm all fucking for it. Why not?
So
more diversity. Who cares?
But Nikita also shot himself in the foot though, and he didn't bring up the actual reasonable argument, which is time and resources are limited, and it's much easier to put a PNG on a face that you don't have to animate and give it a that is something that is it sucks, but it's at least like I get it, okay. Mm-hmm. But Nikita didn't say that.
He didn't say that. Why? I know why there's no female PMCs, and I mean Veritas remembers the one conversation, and we can't really talk about that. This is before we did the podcast, so we had this everybody were talking and the stream would start up, but Nikita specifically said, we're like, are we gonna do maybe females? Is it gonna be like, something? And he just straight up said, no, because he doesn't like women, fighting and dying. So he doesn't want to see women die in it, and that's what he doesn't want. So it's like he's gonna have to tell someone to create, stuff and do things. And
that's where Rebellion was saying they don't.
They don't want. Yeah, Nikita specifically said he doesn't want it in it.
I think I remember that conversation because they were also talking about the models, the character models, and like hitboxes and all that other stuff. Where we kind of already have issues with it to begin with.
You could just put a female face on the character model.
Oh, call it a day. She's buff.
It's just you're jacked.
Like
no one
throwing
will
a mountain type
I mean, tell me you can't just tell me that there are
lean beef patty and called it a day.
And I'd love to hear like your perspective on that, because because with the Nikita thing, it's hard because that was like so long ago, and I think
that was a long time ago. I think that was brought
so I'd love to ask him right now,
ago.
which we can, and then even if there was a development aspect to it, even them just saying like there's a development aspect to it, so we want to do it at this point. Like right now we're trying to bust out streets, but we want would that be like a valuable thing to you? And then I'd love to hear your perspective on like that. Like what if they didn't do that, you know what I mean? And they just was like, hey, we're going to use the same model and try and make it more like would you see that as a good thing, or would you see that as like a half-ass thing?
I mean, it'd be absolutely valuable, but even just like you said, a head on a character, they're trying at that point because I feel like you were saying, they're a little bit. Sorry, Russians, but like behind on the times.
No, for sure.
So we're understanding of that. We get it.
What do you mean? We're the greatest country in the world.
No, but the problem is that if they do that, they're just it becomes like this stupid political social thing where it's just the SJWs are taking over our games.
Yeah,
and it's like, get me out of here.
Honestly, and that's the part about it, because the moment that they said that they would do that, people would automatically assume Streets is getting delayed to the end of 2024 because Amy wanted her character.
But women ruining something else.
But tell me I'm wrong, right? Like the internet would be a bunch of.
Well, look at my Reddit comment. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's our life.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is that like I feel like that internet response would be 100 people, and 99 of them would continue to play the game.
No, it would be most of the people in the BSG dev chat, Twitch chat, but
it is
maybe not the
unfortunate
majority of the community.
that is the world that you guys have to live in. It sucks, but it's like the reality is it would probably be like a 2-week thing. It would blow over. Everyone would still play the game. So like I understand.
I actually thought it was kind of a draw to target a little for me. So back in my day, with the old school, and it's just like bears, you're yelling Russian. There's no VoIP. You have like hand signals and stuff with like smoke. I kind of like that because. You come from like Siege, you come from all these games. Man, I don't need some man-child yelling in my ear like, "Shut up! I'll shoot you later."
Old school Tarkov when there were like 2 rando character models and no one in t-shirts.
I don't care.
Yeah, right. But now they have like 17 different heads, and you know what I mean.
I still want a Sturman jacket, and I'm gonna die on that hill.
One of them looks like me. Thanks, man.
I'm gonna die on that hill for a Sturman jacket, but it's kind of I kind of like the little bit of the words and
ugly guys.
Anonymity?
Help me.
What's the
anonymity?
Anonymity. Yeah.
Anonymity.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm struggling.
See an enemy.
I want to go back real quick to what y'all were saying about like, people are going to complain like they're focusing more on like putting females in the game rather than working on.
Well, those are the same people who are like, oh, they're adding content. Why aren't they fixing bugs? Oh, they're adding content. Why aren't they fixing the bugs?
I'm not saying the complaint is legitimate. There isn't one. I'm not saying the complaint is legitimate.
There's no difference.
I'm on your side.
So like, shut the up, Chad. Yeah, exactly. Let's have vaginas in the game.
Any of us other than probably Clean, role playing as a PMC is 99% of the way as us role playing a competent woman female PMC.
Right.
It's literally just as I'm as far away from a Chad PMC as I am from a Chadette PMC.
Yeah.
Give me long hair. It would be probably. Yeah, I'd probably enjoy it more.
Honestly,
When I
I
play
don't even
PUBG,
care.
I want it to be a chick. And
I
girls
think
want to
it's
be able to role play too, and just let it be.
I just want the smaller hitbox. Like, it'll be better.
Dog, you say that, but look at us. There are plenty of women who are way better bulk ass.
100%, but I'm saying in game, I want the smaller hitbox.
That's some Fortnite meta right
Yeah,
there.
you said 5 is a dude who is based off of us, and he's 5'11" and he's $150, and he's winded after. Well, that's actually the game.
Yeah, my whole point is that people will check just because they will.
I think they will
You know what I'm
anyway,
saying?
even if they did have it.
No,
Like,
it's just gonna happen. Not that it's right. I don't. I think they're
And
assholes.
I
that's
wanna
kind of just
say,
the internet is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you.
Internet's gonna internet.
Yeah, thank y'all. I know a lot of people will like shy away from the conversation just because whatever. So I appreciate y'all like.
No, for sure.
No problem.
No, I'm all for it. I think they should.
We really thought there was going to be female.
we did for a long time.
PMCs
We
for
were
a
bugging. That's why I
long
said I
time.
remember
Yeah.
that whole thing where there was
Just
like, "Are you gonna do
hey,
female
hey.
PMCs? Like, are you getting there?" And they were saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, it's modeling like the armors. You'd have to change the armors and the character
Yeah.
thing and hitbox." And they're like, "We just don't have
I
like
mean-
the development or whatever to do it." And like, okay, so fine. And I think that's kind of like a little bit of a cop out, and also maybe they just don't want it because like they're saying they just don't
It's
want
the
it.
same as what they told us. I mean, Clint, you probably remember they told us, at the end of 2017, we're going to get streets. And I don't see that.
Okay, here's the next one. I'm gonna sidetrack you.
Gamescom 2016.
I think Streets has been done and it can't run. I
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
been done and
Oh,
they
I believe
can't
that.
run it.
No,
I think the netcode is fucked.
100%.
That's why
I
they're not
agree.
doing
I
it.
think
That
it's
whole
been done.
Concordia, that first.
How long they've been teasing it? 3
I
years,
think
coming up
it's-
on 4 years.
It only works on land. I
think
completely
it's
agree.
been-
I think
I don't
it's
even
done.
think it
I
works
think
on
it's
land.
just polished. They're adding really nice things, and so that's why we get these teasers all the time
Yeah.
because
They
the
just
map I
can't
think
run.
is there, but I just
I-
don't think we can run.
Well, aren't
Wait,
Reserve,
do you-
the drop of Reserve, we couldn't even. It didn't even have the underground, and
Yeah.
no one could run it, even with all of our.
Yeah, when
Chad
Reserve-
Ridge.
I want arena. I just want to play arena instead.
Well,
Like-
I'm kind of scared they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot again.
They're already
But-
late again.
Well, that wasn't
Arena
player
testing
count.
should have started already.
No, but everybody thinks that's because player count. It's not because of player count.
It might
Because
be
because the amount of data that's going back and forth it's 10 times more than it should be. But it's trivial to double the players in terms of the data transfer. Like that's not the bottleneck. The bottleneck is not properly culling things and rendering underground 8 million miles away that they shouldn't. That's why the performance
It's so
is
rough on
dog
like
shit.
Reserve
And the
Lighthouse.
scabs.
And the scabs. So
Go
now,
on offline mode,
so-
turn the scabs on
yeah.
horde mode, and see how your
Same
computer
We've done it.
tanks.
Yeah,
That
so-
that has nothing to do with netcode.
And you're trying to triple that. You're tripling that with Streets.
Yes.
You're tripling
Yes.
those
It's more than
scabs
that, right?
We're
and
getting-
PNCs
It says
and
40.
bosses. So I think it's done.
Well, yeah.
We
Well,
can't
no,
run
not
it.
players,
The game
no.
can't run it.
Yeah.
No, they
But the
said they
actor
want
count
40
would matter.
players.
Right?
40 players.
Yeah, no, but I'm
you've
saying
got
that's
two
not an
different
issue.
bosses
Yeah, yeah.
and player scabs. That's
And AI
over
scabs.
50 things in that raid. At
You're
least.
talking triple to quadruple the number of models that we've been used to having rendered on.
It's not the player models. That's
It's not
not
the
it.
player
It has
models.
nothing to do with
It's-
netcode. It has nothing to do with the
What do you
player
mean?
models.
I can run a 200 FPS lighthouse on offline mode with no scabs on. I turn the scabs on, it's 85.
That's
Yeah, that's not player models.
That's not player
Why wouldn't it be models animated? Wouldn't that cause
Because
frame
they
rate?
No.
on server side as well.
No, I'm saying
Yeah,
offline, my
the,
PC.
because the server's on
Server.
your PC.
Right.
So all of the
But it's the
processing
same frame rate
power
if I'm
of
online.
No, all the processing power of the bots is happening on your computer because it's all client side.
Right, but what I'm saying, okay, so I run an online raid, same frame rate, same character count,
Right.
same actor count. That's got to be CPU bound. If it wasn't CPU bound, then it wouldn't matter if I had a 12900K and a 3080.
Well, a lot of that's
You lost me.
Or
well, a lot
9900K
of that's getting
3080.
offloaded onto the server itself because the server is what's keeping track of those. So yes, it's
Right.
being rendered on your PC, but a lot of that is like being handled by
I'm
the server.
saying,
Dude,
if
just
you
go
had-
in offline mode and look in one direction. Okay, look at your frame rate, and then turn around the other direction and look, and you'll see your frame rate go down to 10%. There's no players at all. It's
But it
everything
doesn't
else.
do that on offline mode for me. What I'm saying is,
You're lying or you're misremembering.
no, it just
Next time you're live, we'll do it, and I'll show you that that's not the case.
okay.
What is it?
I'm telling you, it's not player models, and it's not the netcode.
You're
It's
telling me
every other million.
4 times the animated actors on a screen would not cause a frame rate loss.
In
That's
what
what I'm-
universe
that's
are they
what I'm
all on the
saying,
screen
Juan.
at once? That's never happened to you ever in the history of Escape from Tarkov.
are you
have,
kidding
have
me?
all the player models been on your screen at once?
Yes, they did. Not until this patch did they with the LED and have people get called at more than 150 meters. They absolutely did. That's why Lighthouse got its frame rate saved.
Well, so it's not has nothing to do with on screen on one stick.
Sorry.
It's not about being on screen.
Listen, we all know Streets is going to run to that effect. Then I'm changing my LOD to 2 so that I don't have character models rendering out frames so that they turn into a single black pixel in order to save frame rate on Streets because they're trying to have 60 entities running around the map at the same time.
And you're trying to add
That I should technically be able to see if I have a sniper rifle
two scab bosses and a movement
at
like
distance.
APC.
Because an LOD of 2 renders at about 150 meters, LOD of 4 is about 400. Naked
Dog, you're giving me a lot of numbers. I'm trying to follow what the argument is.
Naked eye,
Yeah.
characters, actors running around on the screen in front of me. Right? If there's no actors on the screen when I run in offline mode, 200 FPS, same viewpoint. If I turn the AI on, online or offline, doesn't matter.
Well, you can't
it's
turn
the
it off
same,
online. So
it's the same frame rate, regardless of whether I'm off or on. And I understand the data processing of people moving around on the screen and all that being localized, and I get that. My point is...
Well, yeah, but don't diminish that could be 98% of it.
Okay. Streets is being planned, what, 30 PMCs? 40 PMCs, and right now we're at 16 max. Right? So we're going 40 PMCs plus AI, plus player scavs, plus bosses on the map at the same time, that technically if they were all in front of me, I would be able to see through the same scope, and if they're within, say, 500 meters and an LOD of 4, I'd be able to see them all with a naked eye running around in front of me.
The only way we could test what you're talking about is if we had grid map, and it was empty, and you could have a bunch of players in front of you without 800 billion buildings, boxes, things of rubble, all of that. I'm saying it's all of the rendering of all of that stuff that is what's leading to the biggest performance hit. It's not the players.
Then why on...
If you
I don't...
No,
so
let me explain why.
Interchange scav rate spawns in, your frame rate dips, whether you see them or not through the walls.
Okay. You guys should mosh it right here,
You
dude.
guys are getting wild here. The only thing I'm saying, you already both agreed that when you load horde mode and a bunch of scavs, your game blows up. It's gone. It's destroying your computer.
Yeah, right.
Screaming at you.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, what the
Sit.
fuck, James?
Yeah.
Yo,
Thank you, Amy.
okay, listen, let's rate. How about this? Hottest scab boss. Talk to the,
No, well, maybe
Tegilla.
Tegilla.
I mean, Tegilla's a thirst trap, let's be honest. Are we talking Mary Kill? Is that what we're going to play?
I've got something better.
Imagination.
Mary Kill scab boss.
I've got something better.
What?
Sanitar.
No.
What?
No. Sanitar.
Sanitar gets you high, though.
No, he's a furry.
Just saying.
Sanitar's a furry? Yeah, haven't you heard the voice line?
Okay, listen.
He has like, I shit you not. Like, he has 3 of them.
Oh my god.
And it's just, it's.
He has that. Wait, he does have that
He's
one that
like,
lasts a really long time, and
yeah.
it sounds like he's jizzing his pants.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
very
okay.
close. I'm so sorry. This is your stream. I'm
But
so sorry.
2 of them are
What, you think this is a tame stream?
They literally call it the cream cast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so weird. And some guy translated one of the hidden ones.
Right.
Like, he's talking about his wolves and his boys.
Come on.
Oh.
And I'm like, what
he
the?
means business.
What?
Dude likes
What?
Yip and leave it alone.
Oh, no.
He could never mind. I was gonna say never mind. No, I think that Tegilla is more of like, you know, the stereotypical, like everyone's gonna pick him. But listen, Killa.
Killa's pretty
He
handsome
owns them
under
all.
that.
He has no boys bothering him. Like I'm not gonna have to go through like Blue Heart's 10 guards to talk to Killa.
Nah, I
right?
feel like he's a germ. He's like the ideal,
Hearts.
like, well, he's the germ rat. He doesn't care about any about us.
Yeah.
He just
God,
wants
there's got to
germ
be,
and
you know,
runs
there's
away.
like a Rule 34 section in the internet that is just straight up.
Yeah, I run.
You want me to look it up right now?
Yeah.
I'll look up Rule 34.
I mean, I don't.
Rule 34 talk.
I'm gonna ruin Veritas'
I mean, there was
night.
already like.
Wait, they made the
I mean, ruin. I wouldn't say ruin, but
yeah, they already made the female
Look up
bosses.
female.
So,
Yeah.
look up Ragman.
It's about to be
I'm
a
just
bunch of
saying.
gay shit.
I'm just saying. If I had to be interested in anybody, Ragman's my guy. All right. That's all I'm
Wait,
saying.
what?
Oh, absolutely.
Bunch of PMCs butt each other.
No.
Oh my god.
Lady Tegilla is a solid.
What a podcast, huh, boys?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely not boring.
feel-
I like how we talk about
Also, I
weapon
kind of
balance.
feel like we were kind of complaining. From 2016 to here, I still think the game has made incredible strides out of any
For
early
sure.
access game I've ever played. Daisy, any of them, Scum, all of them. It's the only one that I feel like has actually got some final like neat.
And the number of PCs has gone up tenfold.
I know we're
That's
sitting there like
6 DLC.
complaining about it, but it's like there has not been another really active survival game that has
cannot look
actually,
away.
put out.
He's so
That's where you stop.
I'm gonna turn that off.
Yeah, it's hard because we're.
Oh, you'll
in
put
it
that
all
away
the
and not
time.
say anything?
It's bad.
It's
Now
hard
I
'cause
gotta
we're in it
put
all
you
the
that
time,
bad juju on my Google Chrome
Yeah,
history.
we just sit here and play it all the time.
This shit's
Like, there hasn't.
Okay, wait. We'll be right back.
After 5 or 6 years, like it's.
Watch the camera
You
angle.
can still watch it right in like sort of factory. And like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It's such a good point on like the sheer amount of content. Like so many early access
I
games
honestly-
either die or just get like shipped off as 1.0.
There's probably another bull take. I will start fights now. There's another
Let's
bull
go.
take.
Let's start
You'll be happy you're just not knowing, trust me.
Hot takes. I kind of think.
You're looking at
I don't
Tarkov
really
porn.
want to play
Looking at Tarkov.
I want like a Operation Health for Tarkov. So
Gee, I don't know.
I just
Wait, I gotta see. I'm sorry. Show me. Show me.
It's just like this, dude.
Oh, come on now, man. Alright, now I wish I hadn't.
Very
Okay,
tough how I made
Yo,
that.
that's so weird. Send me a link.
No, I wish I could draw.
It's like
If you see my MS Paint drawings, you would
Oh
know.
my god, dude.
paints are so good.
What is
Wait, so we say Operation Health?
Yeah. So did you ever
There's some
play
vanilla in here for sure.
or any of that?
I
Wait,
played
is this
Siege
last?
for
So-
2 days.
Now, here's,
Oh my
here's the
god.
thing.
Oh my
It's kind of hot take.
Dude, take it to the bathroom.
Look at this. Oh my god, what is that?
What? Dude. Stop it.
Stop. Is that his Kiba?
Yeah, it's the gun store. Oh my god, this is so weird. What is this?
Send it to Betty.
Oh, this is so
Batty needs it. That's it.
Betty, like, Betty would just say like not my most shameful fact. That would be Betty all day.
Of the turkey
Dude, what
thing
the
actually gets
fuck?
through the content. Yo, Tarkov can be fair.
Or wait, no. Let's all right. Now let's say this to everybody here. Let's get off of the Rule 34.
It's
I'm
so
really starting
funny though.
No, Baz, I love it.
No, because so I don't think we need any more content, and I know we're all sitting here like, "F off, Baz. You need more to make
Nope.
YouTube videos."
Amen.
I don't really think we need more because we can burn through it. Okay, Rengar, you're a robot. I don't know. You don't
Fuck
sleep.
those guys.
You don't sleep. Okay, like you probably should sleep.
You're the reason why everything's bad, okay?
Just do it all. Yeah, do it all.
Streamers ruin the game.
I give up sleep for a month every wipe, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's something you should probably sleep.
Alright,
But
I'm
I
out.
want them to do
I love you guys.
a.
I'm leaving at 6 a.m. So.
Alright,
But
hold
the,
on.
Yeah, we'll see you back.
Oh, I got it.
Say bye to Valley in chat.
Bye, chat. Love you guys. Fuck you, chat. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
It's nice to face to face. Seriously, man. Love you guys. Like
Nice to meet
shit.
Everybody use your Twitch Primes on Valiant.
Twitch.tv/Valiant.
While you still can.
He's a Twitch partner. I'll see
Alright, so Siege.
Okay, yeah. So I don't think Turkey needs any more content. We can burn through it all. We've done all these tasks a million times. Kappa, blah 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 blah. We've done it all. But a large percentage of the people who play Turkey never get like max traders. They don't get there. They don't do any of it.
Yeah.
I don't. They're not. It takes me 700 rates to see the goons. 600 rates, 700 rates. That's sometimes what people play all white. It's 700 rates. So you don't need to add for me having 3,000 raids in and I finally see the goons. Do a thing, patch and do some like back end maintenance. Because there's the content there. You have guns, you got the maps, you have the bosses. Okay, streets, everyone wants streets, but I still think we can't run it. So, but like why not just spend a patch and like kind of polish some stuff out that's really hot, like hindering the game, I think.
Like, can we all agree that like the biggest issue right now is the netcode?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Me
with
and
Tarkov,
Rengar.
I think that they like should be number one on the list of things that.
Wait,
Except
me and Rengar. They were saying to up the boss.
You're right. Well, but here's the thing. To her point though, there's only maybe one or two people that are probably qualified.
Yeah.
But they never
to work on that.
Yeah.
No,
So
they
it
turn them
didn't-
down because they don't want people to farm
Yeah,
the
they
gear.
turned them down, but they never turned them up.
And they're not going to say
They
first.
kind of did.
Well,
they put them like
it was
15.
supposed to be ratio, so it was supposed to be
Yeah.
it was like 10%, 15%, 20%, and then it was supposed to keep going up the boss spawn rates, but they never did.
Yeah.
They updated it a few times and then they left it.
That drives
Yeah,
me
then they
crazy
left it.
because like cultists are still 5%. I've played 120 raid trying to get 12 cultist knives. I have 3. They just don't spawn.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they don't spawn.
Yeah.
They're 5%.
I died from like 6 times on
I've gotten more
Charlie.
Cultist knives on scab runs than I have on CNC runs.
Yeah. But so I'm saying, like, I kind of wish, like, we have the stuff there. I know we burn through the content, but, like, there's a lot there. I just want them to kind of pause and, like, kind of put some work into other things that need some help.
But the problem being, like, if they, no matter how much content they add, if the core game sucks or is like buggy, then
That's
like
what I'm saying.
the
So-
content doesn't really do much. It only adds if the game is good overall.
Exactly. So you got streets and like arena and okay,
We're getting parts of
attempting to
streets.
be there.
Yeah.
But
But so
like,
here's the
if
counter
you,
argument.
If you get some of that better, and then you pop out streets or arena. Let's just say streets is happening. Let's say
Yeah.
arena is happening. You already have some of those issues kind of sorted. It's just a
Yeah.
better patch on the next one.
Yeah, here's the counter argument,
like,
and then the counter argument to that.
But we waited. So okay, hear me out here. We still waited 7 months for this last wipe. 7.
Yeah.
And we got goons, kind of a lighthouse, and some guns.
Yeah, for real.
It
and you
still
never see the
takes-
goons.
you never see the goons.
And you never go out to the lighthouse.
And you never go out to Lighthouse except for one task, and then you're never there. And then you don't even use the goon gun, so it's like you really didn't add that much. I would rather you just would have like fixed some things instead of added all that.
You can't even access the lighthouse on the map lighthouse with the expansion to the lighthouse.
That's why I'm like, I don't want you to add anything. Just
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Take
what
a second,
people
fix some things.
what people will say to that is, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and then say you're an
Okay.
idiot to the devil's advocate.
What?
But no, not you.
Okay.
The people that make the content aren't the people that fix the bugs, and that's true. But at the same time, here's the thing: the more they pump out more content, the more that the testers have to test to make sure the new content isn't the game over, and balancing issues and are breaking things. So the counter argument to, well, the reason why they can do both is because the people fixing bugs are the different people that are architecting features and whatever, is the fact that they're different people working on different things, but the amount of testing, which is clearly not enough and or not good enough, there's a quantity and quality situation around the QA testing that goes into a lot of the stuff that we have.
Yeah.
And that goes deeper. I'm not even going to get into a lot of the details. But yeah, to me, it's almost like a focus thing. Like, it's almost, I can't even say it. It's not like they need to like lay off people who are making content because they already hired them. But at the same time, it's a priorities thing.
Yeah. Squash bugs and try and help them optimize and get things like a little bit more smoother. Though.
Yeah.
Well,
honestly, I mean, the people that do, I can't speak for Battlestate's engineering composition.
Yeah, this is all obviously hypothetical.
A lot
so
of this is a little bit, but at the end of the day, the people that are doing animations and doing gun modeling, it's a different set of skills. It's like a nurse practitioner in a hospital, a brain surgeon, and a janitor.
Yeah.
They do different things.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that a lot of times at smaller dev teams, medium-sized dev teams, sometimes the animator is also an expert with netcode.
Yeah.
I don't know what their composition is.
Right.
And back to,
but I'm totally with you. I think they just need to focus more on fixing bugs, and a lot of that has to do with identifying the bugs and having an understanding for what is it supposed to be. When I shoot someone in the head, how much damage am I supposed to do when I have 37 pen and it's armor class 5 and it does 27 armor damage?
Yeah.
Nobody in planet Earth, except for maybe one person at Battle State who's not Nikita, No Food After Midnight and me, knows what that is.
Yeah.
So how would the QA team possibly know if they were to go through the test of shooting somebody in the head, what the end result is? They don't know what the success criteria is to pass the test.
Yeah.
So how is it ever going to work if they don't test it? And so a lot of it comes down to its core design decisions, priorities, and philosophy, which
And
is something
the thing,
that's like insurmountable.
It's priorities, and once again, of course we don't know, but like, because I think that's what Baz was saying originally, because you had brought up the whole Operation Hell thing.
Yeah, so
with
like
in Siege, they did a season where they were like,
and to be fair, don't do what Siege did because they did Operation Elf and it was their worst like update ever. It was horrible. It was a horrible update.
Yeah.
It did not help. It made it worse. It broke things. But
Everybody say hi to Lupo.
I do think hi Lupo.
Hi,
Lupo.
Ben.
Bye, Lupo.
Oh,
Imagine not having a check mark. What a
Well,
loser.
what
a loser, dude.
He didn't get even one of
Yo,
these.
real quick, you guys are talking about like weapon balancing and this guy doesn't kill people at all in Tarkov.
Yeah.
I just started like, fuck,
that is so true. I really.
Can we
don't know
talk
how you do
about
it.
nice interactions? I tried to have them.
Yo, I would.
I got 22 mil max traders.
I would.
Hey, you man.
That's impressive.
I can't kill people, and I'm trying to kill people, and I'm doing worse.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you, friendly guy, because people come into my chat all the time now, and they're like, "VoIP was fun for a little bit, but nobody VoIPs anymore. Nobody's nice. Nobody's aggressive." And I find people nice all the time, all the time. So you're legitimately only VoIPing with people. Have you seen like a real measurable, like most people are dicks now, or do you find that you can still talk to those people?
It's the exact same as from start to now. Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
it all depends who's behind the keyboard,
Yes.
right? You either get a nice person behind the keyboard, or you get someone who's not nice.
Yeah,
and there's no servers that are better. EU and NA are the exact same. There's no difference.
Dude.
Like everyone's
And
either
you're the
a nice
authority
guy
on
or you're
this,
not.
like-
It doesn't matter. It
But do you
depends.
think there's been a shift though? Because so I
Lupo.
I loved
I knew he was going to say some shit like that.
I loved VoIPing in the beginning, and I'll be like, it just got a little old for me. But every now and then I get reminded, like, oh yeah, VoIP's a thing. And then if I speak up, people talk, and it's a thing. But I find that I think some of it has to be the fact that you're initiating it more than at least me, obviously. But I think the novelty did wear off for some people, but everybody's willing to be cool and to talk via VoIP, but I think they're just less likely to do it. They almost need like some prompting, right?
Yeah,
So like everybody should use VoIP more often, everybody, and then it'll be potentially cool again.
The issue is that people say, "Oh, no one's friendly." It's because they're always the ones that are shooting first and not using VoIP.
Because they don't use
because
VoIP.
they don't use it. Like
Their
this never
IRL
happens to me.
staff karma is
You
really
don't
low,
try
so
it.
they just
You
get
know.
shot.
The Reddit karma, dude. You ever see
Hey, Lupo!
4 digits. They're gods.
We'll see you on Twitter.
You're getting canceled!
We're canceling you. I'm sorry.
I also think that shooting is not always the best way out in Tarkov, and I think that
He's Norse. It's his fault.
the RPG element of it means that like it's not always the best way to shoot. Like if you're in
Agreed.
bombs and you're against a 5-man, and you turn around and say, "Guys, like just let me out,"
For
versus
sure.
go flying at them, you're gonna die. You're gonna lose all your. If
Yeah.
you try and VoIP and leave, like I think that. It's
And
an
that's the
it's an
thing.
underused tool.
That's a genius point that I've never heard anybody
No,
say.
it's the RPG.
Killing is not the.
It's not always the right option. Like I
Agree.
There's been so many times where I've had scenarios like that where I've run into someone. Right, the perfect example I'll talk about. Right, I was on Shoreline one time. A guy I saw in front of me. He wasn't using VoIP. He was using in-game comms. Like, yo, what's up? He left me. He didn't kill me. He ran away down the way to another guy, which he tried to kill in front of him. That guy killed him. I then walked up behind to the guy that just killed him, shouted, "Yo, don't shoot!" It's like, yeah, no worries, dude. Left. You see what I mean? If he didn't, he would have got out. It was like literally 10 meters from extract.
Yeah.
But because he's like ignored the guy and just shot at him, he got killed, lost all his shit. We spent 45 minutes in Shoreline for Jack. Whereas I just told him out with this guy, like, yo, so I'll take all your shit that you just looted from me, and I'm gonna walk straight out, you know?
Bro,
like,
you
it's just
also have a
always the
cool-
right call.
You also have a cool accent, and that to me, that's like ping abuse. It's like VoIP ping abuse. I was like, "Oh, what's up, mate?" And then, people would be like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna talk to this guy."
Brodo Hub. Brodo Hub.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Right? The guy, I threw a grenade at him and missed, and he still asked if I wanted to help him, or if I needed help from him. And then we ended up he was really cool. I told him I needed one more nade kill. He walked me around. We found another grenade. He stood in the corner. I blew him up. Turns out, the stream found out he was a streamer, right? And he had a dono goal up for surgery because he had oral facial cancer. So that's we raised $5,000 in a day for him.
He's just
because my aim sucks. I'm good for humanity apparently. We are all better for humanity.
Dude, I was surprised when I did that social experiment, and I literally walked up to people like, "Yo, can you help me get out? I don't know where I'm going. I found this, key card. It says Purple Labs or whatever," and they were like, "Oh, dude, let me help." Not a single person betrayed me. Not a single person. It was 3 or 4 streams. I was like, "Holy shit." I could not believe that. Yeah. I was expecting 100% of the people, because every other time I walk up, I have so many clips where I'm like, "Yo, you need any quest item?" Bam, I'm dead. And it's like, come on now.
But I think so many people get that's such a great point that combat might not always be the way out, because what is your chance against a 4-man?
Yeah,
it's probably
it's
2
not
or 3%.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
And so even if VoIPing that 2-man is a 90% chance you're gonna die, that's still a higher percent chance of survival than if you had fought. And then even on top of that, VoIP has been some of my favorite VoIP interactions. The other day, I was in a fight with some dude, some super extended fight. I swing the corner and I get a malfunction the same minute he runs out of ammo. we're like way out, and I'm like, hold on, and I just like run away, and then we're like VoIPing at each other while I'm like changing the thing, and then we end up getting in the fight, and he kills me, and that's fine, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like people die to VoIP one time. Obviously not you, and you've had a lot more experiences, but I feel like a lot of the people. They get betrayed,
and then
they're like, VoIP sucks, and they're like, I die all the time.
And they turn it off, and then it's gone. So
I die all the time.
You do try and do VoIP,
of course I've
and then
gotten
they just don't get
betrayed before, but like, some of my favorite raids of all time have been VoIP raids.
Like when if you think about it,
you should go into it.
That was amazing.
If you're VoIPing at somebody and you're like, hey, you want to do this and walk around, they can still walk around the corner and shoot me in the face.
For sure. It's just understanding that, yeah.
Just because you said hello and like, hey, I want to task doesn't mean they're not going to shoot you. Like, you got baited.
Exactly.
You know, we talked about this before. When people are like, nah, you, I got a quest dog, and it's like, all right, bring it.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Some of the best stuff I love is when Will walks up to people, he hears them on another, like further down the hallway or whatever, and he's like, hey man, what's up? My name is Bruce Willers.
Bruce Willers, movie actor.
Yeah. Are we gonna be friends or you want to fight?
It works. It gets people talking.
You want to be friends
right
or you
away.
want to fight? And some dude's like, nah, let's fight it out. And he's like, all right, GG, whoever wins. And then
which is really GG, you're gonna die.
Yeah, but some people recognize me. They're like, oh, okay, no, let's be on the same team.
I love it. Think about it though. Remember the trailer for Tarkov? You might want to say that Tarkov's all about combat. Remember the trailer when the bear and the USEC toss each other the guns and they roll out together.
It was the best. I love that stuff.
And yet, you know, the quests are like.
But I agree, man. Some of the most fun that you have, like for me, playing Tarkov now is about that interaction, though. Like the most fun that I have playing the game is like I try to talk to everyone that I come across because it's just a good time. It's enjoyable.
It made the game so much more fun. And there's just like tons of experiences that you couldn't have before. The amount of times, like even if I'm in that like Giga Chad, like I made some money, all I want to do is kill people. Like if I'm storming dorms, Meldona, and SJ6, and I'm hear somebody go, "Yo, do you have the key for Operation Aquarius?" I'm like, "Oh, we're friends now." Just like we're friends now. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
Do they have that specific voice?
Yeah.
Hey,
do you have the key for Operation Aquarius?
No, you are right now though. The amount of people that recognise my voice and go like, "Oh, shoot! Do you need anything? Do you need?" I get given now. Like I used to give people things like obviously.
That's like the red key.
You're
extremely recognizable.
Yeah, like literally like, "Oh, do you need shoot bomb? Do you need grenade kills?" I'm like, "No, it's cool. I'm cool." Like, it's.
Well, that's what happens when you give. Usually, life kind of just gives back to you.
Yeah,
That's how it works.
It's interesting. What I've been doing this like, this is different to what you guys obviously you all kit up and stuff. So I've been doing this wipe is starting with absolutely nothing, like every raid, like DayZ style.
Oh my god!
Like DayZ style, and it's so much fun to go through that and like like I said when you find the PS 762 PS in raid and you find a Glock with 5 bullets and you've got three shots to take it down. Yeah. And then you snowball you take a few PMCs down. And then you reset, like, it's so much fun, like, to because you've got nothing to lose, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You've got nothing to lose, you just enjoy it, if you die, you go again,
and that's why even after 5,000 hours in the game, scabbing is the most fun.
Same, I love scabbing.
Because
it's
like, when I see, I wish I could like guarantee that I saw PMCs more, because that's the thing. It's like I want to know.
It used to be like that.
I'm at a disadvantage, and I want to be able to use my game sense and my knowledge.
What I think they should do with scab karma is make it to where if you have low scab karma, you literally get in like 5 minutes in a raid. Yeah, that's it. If you have high scab karma, you start at the very beginning. And you get to challenge the PMCs, because that's my favorite thing to do as a scab is try and kill PMCs. Yeah. I'm looking for PvP every time. Because I want to kill them with their meta slicks and with my AK. It feels so good.
Here's an interesting question. Max negative scab karma. Do you feel like
you should be like a cultist or something?
I think you should spawn as a cultist.
You should be like the ultimate bad guy.
If you go past 6 negative, I think you should spawn as a cultist. You can only run at night, but you get to be a cultist. I think that would be amazing.
It should be. I think the reward of both sides should be weighted more heavily on the positive, but I do think that there should be something on the negative.
There should,
If you want to do that, like I actually think
it's like vampirism in Oblivion.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
You're sacrificing a lot, but what you get is pretty cool, so you want to do it. You know what I mean? And not everybody will want to do it. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, like, Tarkov isn't about creating the same experience over and over and over again. And I feel like that's what people get so frustrated when the one thing they're used to happening doesn't happen. And I love that. I love when I get into a fight in a weird spot or somebody that, betrays me or something like that. Because the point is not knowing what's about to happen. Not just like spawning in, being like, somebody spawns there, this is where the loot is. That just gets boring.
Chat, you guys are funny, man.
Chat, you guys are.
No, don't listen to him. He's a cunt.
I mean, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Hey, he's smarter than you, but he's a cunt.
true. Both of those are true.
No denial.
I think for what you're doing, Friendly Guy, like all I want is the ability to be in the world longer. You know what I mean? Like
desperately trying to keep it on the rails.
I'm trying.
Yo, pull up that porn again. Pull up that kibble porn,
Jesus.
dude.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
No. Rule 34 Tarkov, baby.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do yourself a favor. Don't look at that.
Don't do it.
I was just curious and I found out.
Around and you found out.
We've talked about secure containers yet. That's one thing we've not talked about.
Secure
Like, what
containers?
should go in them, what shouldn't go in them.
You shouldn't be able to put anything in them. I've been saying that for 5 years. I want to kill somebody with a corner lab card on them.
Lock it in raid. The second you get in raid, wherever you came in
should
with
be
the
able to
clock.
lock it in.
Yeah, that shit like it.
I hated the meta of like rushing
more
interchange
exciting
and you would
too,
like get the GPU.
You just stuff all this. I literally made a TikTok video about
it's
that.
like if it's gonna be like a high pop area, like might as well like kill the guy that got it first. I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like the dark zone in
Because it's literally just like, oh, the guy got the ollie spawn, GG.
I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I'm getting this GPU up there, dude.
And ammo.
Well, now it's pointless.
Look at the baseline going.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not going to be, if found in raid is essentially worthless for the vast majority of the items that you find in raid as it is anyway, right? Unless it's like something ultra friggin' rare, which almost never happens, and you can't sell Bitcoin regardless.
No, the smartest.
The stuff that I put in my Gamma container now is stuff that I know that is vendor sellable at a decent amount. Like I'll put an Iridium in there because it's worth 50K and it's about 50K on the market. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Right?
No, one of the smartest things they ever did
Or task items.
is it's all the shit that like nobody pays attention to or really talks about, like adding the 3 special item slots so you can put like the markers.
Yeah,
in
that's
there.
kind of massive because I really like the rangefinder with that, especially Lighthouse,
Yeah.
because I like you can judge pretty well with most of it and you like remember
Agreed.
them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now with Lighthouse and stuff, I really like the
But
rangefinders
imagine-
there because like a compass for me is kind of useless.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Compass is
I don't
dog
think
shit. It's just like you're gonna be like, oh, I can't shoot you. Hold on, let me put my compass
No
away.
one more
He's
than
over, I'm
500
dead.
hours of experience uses a compass.
Yeah, nobody does.
Unless you're trying to teach somebody brand new.
That's
how
what I'm
to
saying.
use it.
Unless they're new, I find it.
It's the most immersive of animation in the game. I use it for immersion runs when I free look around like I'm lost, and you pull up the compass and then you put it away, and that's
immersion.
But yeah, I mean, like think about it though. Imagine if, and I'm not like proposing this because like I'm just not, but like imagine if there was a slot for like key related things, like a docs bag or a key bar.
It's almost like that's already in the game already. That's like for those kinds of items. It's super weird that you suggest that.
Yeah, no,
that's
I mean,
so weird.
It's just like the Quest Pocket Watch, the GPU box. There's so many mechanics that I think that they like put in the game. They're genius, and then nobody talks about them, and then they don't lean into them. It's like I wish they would focus on the things that they did that are fucking clever and genius, and not lean into all this dumb.
Every really good idea that somebody in the community comes up with, it's almost like they're like, no, f that. We'll do something our own way.
I'm not even going to take credit for like the special, and that I don't think anybody. People weren't proposing having special slots for markers. Nobody said that ever. But they came out with it. And it was like, yo, BSG, yo,
good idea.
holy. Or like that. Whatever. Whoever said that, give them a raise.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was probably the intern, and not the guy that they hired from Blizzard or whatever.
Get in there. Okay.
Is that a thing?
Okay, Amy, go.
Last combo. Best map in the game.
Customs.
Reserve. It's Woods. It's
Reserve.
Customs. Lupo, it's Reserve.
No, it's not. Reserve sucks
Wait,
ever
wait,
since
wait,
they added
real
the
talk.
underground. It's just Factory 2.
Factory.
It's
Factory
Customs.
1.
It's
Factory 1.
Customs is the best map.
But real talk, it's interchange aside from the fact that the lighting just sucks.
Wait, aside from your kids,
I'll take him to the back and shoot
Yeah.
him.
Well, the lighting still sucks. So it's not the best
Go
map.
back and watch the
Okay.
point out trailer.
Okay.
That lighting.
Amy, you want to watch the World War II?
Yeah, the trailer looks sick.
Amy's just like,
Amy's like,
Never-
here's the grenade site.
I can axe them out.
The problem is with interchange is
Now
lighting
you're saying
sucks, so
kickbacks.
you can't get around that.
Right, right.
Interchange
Factory-
is the most well-made map.
Yes.
For sure. Every
Actually-
single thing they did
No,
after
Labs
they
is
made
pretty
it is
good too, though. In
It's a good
terms of,
map.
Yeah, Labs
Russ
is great.
Like,
Factory
yeah,
is
and,
good
like, the
because the combat, the way that everything's laid out, the spawns are dog shit. but there's like no cheaters.
Yeah.
And
Customs
you can get in and out really quickly. And
Woods is the best map in the game because it's the most diverse. It's not like desync. Like how many times on Woods has somebody flown through a door and killed you before you saw them?
Because there's one door.
That's what I'm saying. As you're sniping, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I've never had an interaction on Woods where I felt like it was decent. Never, because like you can actually like see somebody from far away, spot them. If somebody shoots at you and you missed, you can reposition. I feel like once you get into the resort or once you get the door,
Woods is my second favorite map.
And it's crazy that Woods has no buildings, but it has a bunch of AI and a bunch of PMCs, and it runs fine for everybody.
I thought you were just going to stop it. I've never interacted with Woods.
I've never had Woods has been insane recently.
The reason why Woods is good is the reason Woods is the lack of a map. If you think about it, really.
No.
I'm joking, but I mean like the buildings and stuff, the fact that it's open and that it's like trees and it's a totally different vibe than basically every other map except for one part of custom.
It's a totally different vibe. You go on reserve, you run indoors. You go on customs, you run indoors. You go on shoreline, you run to indoors. You go everywhere. You go on labs, you're always indoors. And it's like, so it's the most different experience, and I feel like, I don't know, it's fun.
No, but here's the thing though. Oh, no, go ahead, Seal.
Well, every fight that you have in those smaller maps, or indoors, are like one and done. Like you run into someone, you fight for like 2 seconds, someone wins.
Yes.
But on Woods, you're like far away from each other, so like
Sniping
sometimes
and
people
flanking.
miss you. Like obviously sometimes
All right,
you're
but
running through, you get one tap,
but on none of those maps can you hide in a bathroom with a KS-23 and shoot somebody unlocking a marker.
So
I'm just saying.
On the opposite side of what you're saying, I have more instances on customs where I run in, I find nobody, and then one person comes in, and then another person comes in, and then another person comes in, and then a team comes in. So like customs is that map where like right when you think you're done, you're not.
Yeah. Or it's just dead. That's my
Or
it's just completely dead or
that's the thing. If I run 3 Woods raids and don't run
kill
into
one
anybody, I have
full
to
raid
switch.
or you
Right.
die.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Or
the thing
it's
is Woods is my favorite. The fights on Woods are my favorite, but Customs is probably the best map.
Yeah.
Like, Customs has like the most consistent PvP and the fights are fun.
Everyone runs the
but
Customs.
when you get good fights, Woods is my favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
I still think they kind of ruined
level
customs.
5
I'd be
teams.
with you in saying customs is the best map if
When people had marked room keys.
when you had marked room keys because it
There's no
the
point in
dorms
test
PvP
anymore.
there's no
Yeah,
point.
that's
So
true.
dorms is like empty, but the
Yeah,
PvP in
that's true.
dorms and hopping
What
out
if we
windows
make
and
the
shit was
key
so fun and
rarer?
like crazy and
They need to
long.
make that
the
marquee
But-
more.
So
Find it.
okay, if you make
Fuel-
if you make it a
Fuel
10
Ryan.
key and you make it that rare, like bump it up and do
Good
some
idea.
crazy
You
stuff,
get the
but
race.
like you just made it so incredibly rare that no one is there.
I miss when
Here's the thing. They made
And
running.
compared to resort, you can still get the key and everyone's there, and I'm still finding people there.
Yeah.
And I love the rotates, hopping off the balcony. And stuff. I know it's not your realism thing. Like I'm not a military guy leaping off like a 3-story building to kill somebody, but like it's fun and it's I like the rotates and the hole in the floors and stuff. There. So that's what's intriguing with it compared to like Woods.
They made everything having to do with finding things and like locomotion. Basically, like manage your bar simulator when it just comes to stamina and weight and all this stuff. It's just so annoying, and that's why Woods sucks a lot more now for me because it's just so much.
No, I get
you run and you're at and there's no cover other than some trees, and then you're out of stamina.
This way,
and you can't
Woods
even
is
do
worse
the gamer
'cause the
thing, which is
stamina
crouch.
changes.
Yes,
crouch,
agree.
crouch, because then your stamina's like no.
That's the my
No.
That was one of the biggest.
But when you have enough money to instantly go.
Yes.
I'm a student of Rengar.
And then you run
SJ6
around.
every raid, baby.
And Meldonin. And you're just
SJ6
like,
Meldonin,
yeah.
and then I run a Propital just in case somebody hits me in the leg.
What happens when you have 1,000,000 rubles? You spend 10% of it on a gun that still performs like dog shit. You spend another 10% on a single stim. You kill a 2-man, you fill your bag, and you're like, oh yes, and then you die, and now you have nothing, and then you do that twice, and you're out of money.
Your options are have your viewers bring you kits or duo with Rengar, and he'll carry you to success.
Yeah, he'll just carry you. Yeah, you get a Sherpa, man, because you're bad.
Skill issue.
True. Yeah, skill issue.
Just go back to telling people that you have a violet card so they don't kill you anymore.
I've spent the last 2 months running around with Spider-Man gear, so like, you're right.
You ran into Doodles, right?
Yeah. Doodles killed me. Didn't know it was me because my name was Spider-Man at home, and then started talking about how drippy the AK was, and I literally built it because it just had all the red parts.
Yeah.
So it fit, and he was like, "I love this AK," and I was like, "Yeah,
Like
I
the
built
McDonald's
this."
AK?
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's make the McDonald's one.
Well, Happy Meals.
That's
oh, yeah.
Ronald.
The
Ronald
McCalashnikov.
Oh, the
Yes.
McDonald gun.
Yeah, he does that, but he does it with a 9mm.
That's
Ronald.
Ronald.
That's Ronald.
Yeah, the Mick Kalashnikov made that one. forever.
Uber? Yeah.
Well,
will you do that? Because my phone's pretty low.
And that's the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, unless anybody else had anything, I feel like this is a good spot
My
to
phone's at 1%.
wrap it up. Any other Rule 34
Oh, no, it's
things
3.
we need
So-
to...
Yeah, and we'll have links
Best.
to in the description to all of the weird like
Yes.
animated Tarkov porn stuff.
Yeah,
you'll send me the
perfect.
links.
No.
And then yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Love reference material.
Yeah.
We're
So-
probably gonna meet up back up at like the people at our house, and then sorry, that's the loudest one. We're probably gonna be like everyone else, and then
I think we're probably done.
Yeah.
I'm ready for bed
Yeah.
because I'm an old goddamn man.
I'm going straight to bed, so we're good.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
So on that note,
thank you guys for coming out to the podcast. You know, I got a bunch of people
Probably.
watching, which is super sick. Thank you, everybody. Obviously, on like the posted version of this, we'll link everybody that was in the room. Go check them out. The freaking Tarkov TwitchCon crew's been dope. So thank you guys. Bye.
Bye. Peace.
Bye. Peace.